5 years I have wanted to make this video, and finally it is happening. Hello everybody, welcome to the Rise to Superior discussion video. I am your host, Realm Wars II. Here are my guests. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Haywire Jordan. I'm around.
That he is.
It is Nick Wallaker.
Alright, and then Roshitsu Rises, aka Danny.
I also have a Platinum Rhythm and a TP who may be joining us later, but at the moment Platinum Rhythm is on mute. He can jump in whenever. So I did make a video about this some time ago. In fact, funny enough, Danny, Nikki, and Brandon were there the first time I made a video like this. But since looking back at it, due to a lot of things that I have changed about my writing, I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to redo this with what exactly I plan to do now, given that I have a bit more of a definitive idea of where I want to take this. I also have much higher quality images this time around compared to last time, where only some of them were colored and others were not.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a lot more comprehensive this time.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm actually prepared this time.
And prepared you are.
Yep. So yeah, these guys have image folders that they'll be looking at when I need them to open stuff up. I have a couple of audio logs actually for some of these characters. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get everything that I needed for this, given that there's some audio that I was missing here and there. What I have to work with is basically all I have to work with. At least that's something. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But at the moment, I kind of wanted to start off this video with something that I'm sure I've had asked quite a number of times on my live streams. Where did the title name of the Rise to Superior even come from? And
That's a good question.
The $1 million question.
this has got quite some hefty history, actually.
Alright.
Alright,
I like history.
alright, so,
History's always good.
yeah,
Make
so...
history check.
I don't have my dice on me, fuck!
I can roll mine, hang on. Dungeon Masters are always prepared. That being said, I'm not a very good Dungeon Master, but...
Bullshit!
Okay, here's my d20.
On us.
20! What the fuck?!
Now we know this video is gonna be good.
Okay, take it away, ringleader!
Okay, so, the story behind the title of the Rise to Superior. The Rise to Superior used to be based on a small club me and some elementary school friends made up. Back then, it was called the Monkey Boys Club. Yes, it's an NA reference, shush. But, that's not even the strangest part about it. The concept of this was that a bunch of kids who were secret agents were hoping to end the tyranny and standards of normality and conquer the normal squad, which was led by the Grinch.
I see.
Don't ask how I got from point A to point B, because I still don't know.
From Dr. Seuss to anime. It's a natural progression of things, I can assure you.
But yeah, after some time, we would disband this club on good terms, and I'd started wanting to flesh out the comic that I was making based on this, because I liked what I was eventually doing with this whole thing, and I wanted to see if I could expand upon it a bit more. And I was also liking the idea of world hopping, thanks to my strong addiction to Kingdom Hearts back then. So at this point, the comic's name became, and this name should sound familiar to many of you, Realm Wars.
Oh, so that's where your name came from.
Yeah, if you guys ever wondered where my screen name came from, it was based off of one of the original titles I was going to call this manga. I ended up having to change the name, though, because my dad would inform me some time ago that a very obscure PC game that nobody plays had that title. And I got mad, so I had to change it.
Okay, I kind of want to look this up now.
Yeah, like, that unfortunately is a number of the issues that I did have when it came to naming things here and there, where it's like, awesome, I'm glad I have this cool name that fits this one thing, and then I learned later on, wait, someone else already did it?
Oh, it's a Warhammer name?
Simpsons did it.
Yeah, the whole title is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realm War.
Yeah, like, yeah, literally, Daddy, it's like, yeah, Simpsons did it.
Wow.
Yep. So after that, I changed the title to Super Agent, and the original idea was hoping to make this into a video game, actually. However, the title was quick to be scrapped, as for one thing, I didn't like the name, and the fact that the main character, Agent 1, who would eventually get named Kamiko later on when I think they give him an actual name, was literally the only agent character in this series, so he would be super by the fact that he's literally the only one.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, oops. Also, but then after learning that I suck at coding a video game, I changed the idea into making the series into a comic so I could work with my bigger strengths as a writer and artist. Thanks to books like Jeff Smith's Bone and Kohei Horikoshi's My Hero Academia inspiring me, I set out to make this into a manga. This is where the series started involving the whole superior concept, and as a result, I entitled the series simply as Superior. That name got scrapped because of a superhero comic whose titular character also went by that name. So I jumped in a dumpster, slammed the lid several times on my face, and just to add the worst to the Rise 2, just so I could keep the superior title in some way, shape, or form. So before anyone gets on my case for using the Rise 2 title cliche, don't blame me. Blame everyone else for coming up with these titles first.
Thanks, Doc Ock.
Oh no!
Superior Spider-Man's so stupid.
Oh no! It wasn't even Superior Spider-Man.
No?
No, there was actually a superhero comic by the name of Superior, where apparently a kid was so inspired by Superman that he wished one day to become him, and I guess he did. Although I guess the idea was that he wasn't exactly a good-hearted Superman was the problem.
Oh, I think Superman Red Sun touched on that.
But yeah, that comic title went by the name Superior, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta change it again. And yeah, so that's when I just added the Rise 2 towards it, just because it's like, you know what, I'm tired of changing this thing's title. Superior fits for this series. I don't want to diverge from that. Thank you. Let me have this. So that pretty much goes off for the basic concept just behind the name of the series. As for the essential plot summaries, so I have this kind of set up into about 5 different arcs. The first arc of it is essentially what I refer to as the hunt for Mao, where the whole realm war thing kind of starts going about. Where we get Kamiko's origin story, we see him declare vengeance against Mao because he kills his mom at a young age. He sides with the dragons, he starts learning his magic, we get introduced to characters here and there, and yeah, just pretty much a basic part of dealing with the first part of the war where we have to deal with the enemy realms who are attacking us.
Okay.
Alright.
Interesting.
Yep. I will say, I think this one will probably be the longest of the arcs, just because it does involve like a lot of the realm war stuff, but like the rest of the arcs I plan to do definitely much shorter as I started thinking along about what I plan to do for these, because it's like sometimes like I was trying to figure out like what kind of things to add to each of them, but then I'm like, okay, so I feel like some of these I don't need to add that much towards, so I feel like as these different seasons would go along, the arcs definitely get a lot shorter. With the finale of the series essentially not even being that long, like I probably just make it into like one big solid book is the thing, like very similar to like how Jeff Smith's Bone would do it. Like it's just one big book. Yep.
Okay.
The second season would involve the Dragon Slayers, where these people are interesting in the fact that they're very similar to monster hunters, where they kill a dragon and they take their scales in order to create like armor and weaponry. And on top of that, they can actually tap into their auras to use their magic while they wield their weapons.
Alright.
Season 3 involves the final battle with the Demon Lord Saiga as a means to conclude the war between dragons and demons, which the whole series is practically based on. And then for Season 4, there's Unfinished Business, which I'm not going to go into too much detail on because that's extreme spoiler territory. And then the finale is Superior versus God.
Oh.
Because there always is.
Yeah.
Zima the Chronicles will let you know your location.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
is
like-
always a god.
It's like, and you always have to do fisticuffs with it.
Yeah, like every JRPG is like, all right, where's God? But that's pretty much the layout I have for how I'm going to organize like each of these arcs. And yeah, as I mentioned, they're gonna get shorter with like each one that I end up going towards. But as of now, yeah, this is where I'm gonna ask you guys to open up those folders I sent you, because it's time to
Here
go
we
over
go.
some lore.
Lore time.
Yeah.
Good thing I took that back then.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey!
Yeah, you missed a great story about how originally the Rise of Superior was a bunch of elementary school kids fighting the Grinch and his normal squad.
It's okay. You can watch it in the playback.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, we're just going over the lore parts, and I'm just gonna have to ask you guys to open up lore 1, because that's where we're gonna be starting.
Done.
Lore 1.
Yep, because we're gonna talk about how the magic works in the Rise of Superior.
Magic.
Yeah.
Gotta have some rules when you're gonna have your superpowers.
So yeah, reading off of this, how essentially the magic works is that magic is the main source of power within the world of the Rise to Superior. There are multiple different forms of magic, the common being dragon magic. Magic is unlocked through tapping into aura with varying strengths and uses depending on levels of aura. We'll be getting to aura later. Magic abilities can be enhanced through training. Even creatures who normally cannot use magic can develop magic so long as they can tap into their auras. So essentially the idea is that I actually have something like this in book 2 where somebody comes along like hoping to fit in as like a replacement superior, because at this point the dragons think Kamiko's dead, so they need a replacement superior, and this one person comes along and despite actually having a good heart and having good faith and justice, she wasn't able to be chosen as a superior because she didn't have any actual magic talent. And the argument that Amara would give is that despite how good that your intentions are, without the power to back it up, you're literally just a dead man walking. But they raise up the point that if you are to train into learning how to tap into your aura, because in the Rise of Superior, everything has aura, but people have varying different levels of it. You can train that aura, and the bigger that it is, the more inclined you are in being able to use magic. And typically, the higher levels of aura you have, the stronger and wider variety of magic that you are actually capable of utilizing.
Makes sense.
Alright.
The aura stuff story I have in my head involving like aura powers and stuff that my characters have deep down and stuff. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like okay, I'm just this is just really cool so far.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is that those not born naturally granted magic will also show physical changes when utilizing those magic spells. So, I have on the side here, like, pretty much the big change that you can see with some of these is primarily in the elemental magic, where I actually posted an image of it last night on the official Rise to Superior page, where Kamiko was utilizing electric magic, and his eye color did change. And that's actually one of the changes that occur when using elemental magic. A human's eye color will change in correspondence to the element that they're using. If they're using fire, their eyes become red. Ice, their eyes become light blue. Electric, they become yellow. Earth, they're green. Light, they're white. Dark magic, they have black eyes. Water, it becomes blue. Wind, they become gray.
Okay.
Elemental magic is the most common form of magic in the Rise to Superior. And the other thing about elemental magic is that aside from just being able to manipulate and control those elemental abilities, other changes to your body can occur when you're using them. These are certain abilities that you obtain even when the magic is not in use. If you can use fire, you gain natural heat resistance because you're used to controlling fire.
Makes sense.
Yep. Ice, same as fire, but you resist cold. And water, you can breathe underwater.
Oh, that'd be great. Then I can be a mermaid.
Yeah. Some magical abilities grant attributes to the body, but only when they are active. For example, electric gives you super speed.
Huh.
When, say, like, you have someone using electric magic, suddenly they're just able to run at, like, ridiculously fast speeds. Light grants you super strength.
You mean Earth?
Yeah, Earth
right?
Earth grants you super strength.
It'd be nice if Light did it too, but...
Yeah. Yeah, light gives you accelerated self-healing, so, like, you can have a healing factor, and the other thing about light magic, too, is that you can heal other people as well.
Oh, so you're effectively a paladin if you use light magic.
Yeah, just give him a good touch.
Lay on hands.
Yep.
Ow!
Why'd you slap me?
I'm healing.
Yep. Dark gives you an immunity to dark crystal. Yes, I lifted this from a Spyro game. Shush.
It's fine.
Yep. But basically what Dark Crystal does is that it is essentially you can compare it, you can pretty much call it a dragon's kryptonite, where if they're next to it, it actually saps their magic ability away as well as sapping at their aura. And the other thing about Dark Crystal is that when you are completely sapped out of your aura and your magic, it then starts to drain you of your life force. So prolonged exposure to this thing for people who are strongly attuned to magic can ultimately kill you, unless you are using dark magic.
Ah.
And then wind makes you lighter weight. There is also a special attribute when it comes to water. Your entire body can actually become water-based. Like you can turn your body into water, and like attacks can actually just splash through you, and you can just absorb damage like that. The only problem is that if you're against an electric user and you get hit by electricity, you could ultimately get paralyzed from getting zapped because you're practically made of water.
Neat.
Neat, but not neat.
Yeah.
While elemental magic is the most common, other forms of magic also exist, such as telepathy, levitation, portal creation, barrier magic, sealing, and much, much more kinds of magic. Magic abilities can be channeled through weaponry to also enhance their capabilities, such as how Ryona can channel electricity to make her blade sharper, channel ice to make the blade thicker, or wind for slicing with wind, and also making the blade lighter. So yeah, as you guys are seeing in the image, yeah, you see like Ryona's like sending electricity through her sword. That is in fact something she can do.
Handy.
Yeah. I did kind of pull this idea too from something that Sasuke can actually do in Naruto, where he sends the Chidori through his blade and it actually makes the blade sharper, so he can actually cut through thicker things with it. So now I'm gonna have you guys go to lore 2.
Lord.
So
Oh, that little chibi drawing's cute.
yeah, so magic has multiple attributes. Elemental magic's properties are limitless to the caster's imagination. So I kind of lifted this straight from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's a fair magic system to be pulled from.
Yeah, and I also kind of had the idea a bit from like Kirby's copy abilities, where it's like, you know, he could generally just do anything he wants with those powers as long as it's like to his imagination.
But I doubt that everyone in Rise to Superior needs to bore people to do it.
No.
Good, because that would be weird.
Oh boy.
There are dragons.
The
greater the aura, the stronger and bigger elemental magic can be expanded. Elemental magic can provide interesting options, either offense or defensive, such as wind. You can infinitely jump.
Oh, so you have the moon jump code.
Yep. Yeah, and here's water. You can turn your entire body into water. And then electricity, that your reflex speed is also increased. So, like, you can actually react to things faster because your body can move faster.
So it puts your neurons on steroid.
You know, without actually being on the drug.
Bane, take notes.
Learn dragon magic. Then he comes back. I have Dark Crystal. No, curse you, Batman!
Dragons, well, I have the fucking fairy type.
No!
No! My one weakness. Pixie dust.
I have Alolan Ninetales, the Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, it's doubly effective against dragons. You're right.
That's very unfortunate.
Okay.
So I see you chosen death. Some attributes can have their magic expanded for stronger feats, such as wind. If you charge it, you can jump extremely high, or in the words of Samurai Jack, you jump good.
Jump good.
Earth can actually increase the impact of your hit, so like you actually can hit people harder.
Nice.
Some elemental enchantments do come with trade-offs due to their strengths. For ice, you have cold resistance, but you also get strained muscles when hit with fire, because, you know, you're making your body cold, and then if you because it's like, if you quickly freeze something, but then you heat it up, it actually can kind of damage an object.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a drastic temperature change.
Yeah, and if you don't give your muscles time to adapt to the changes, then it can actually tear ligament.
Yep. Electricity. Your speed is heightened, but your hits are much weaker because you're not hitting with as much impact. You're just kind of just giving people a. You're just kind of just giving people an aura rush.
That doesn't really hurt as much as an Aura Rush 2.
Yeah, no. Earth strength is heightened tremendously, but you also have slower movement.
That makes sense because rocks
Rocks.
can be
Yeah.
very heavy.
Yep. Yeah, and here's water. Turn body into water, but you're immediately stunned from electricity.
Because water and electricity do not mix.
And also, elemental magics do have their own type matchups. Fire is weak to water. Ice is weak to fire. Electric is weak to water. Earth is weak to water. Earth is strong against wind. Wind is strong against electricity, and fire is strong against wind. Yeah.
Wind against electricity though. How would that weaken it actually?
Because wind clouds actually swirl up and store electricity in them.
Oh, so it encapsulates it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now that you put it in perspective. And fire is stronger than wind because in order to create bigger fires, you just gotta blow more oxygen into it because it's a chemical reaction.
Yep. Also, just to let you know, Earth magic is both weak and strong to itself.
So it's essentially the dragon type of this universe.
Because, yeah, essentially the phrase of, only rock can break rock.
Makes perfect sense, actually.
Yep. Light and dark are also both weak and strong to itself as well, because they're both, like, exact polar opposites of each other.
Right.
And, as I have on the top of here, parlor tricks are not a form of magical combat, but at least it's entertaining, unlike dying. That sucks. And here
Right.
you see Twilight pulling a dragon out of a hat.
Aw.
How did that get there?
Even
Hello there, little one.
it's like, why are you in my hat? Yeah, why are you in my hat? But yeah, like as well as like on some of the illustrations, like as you can see, like on both pages, you see some of them utilizing magic and everything. Like you have Amara here who's able to cover like her entire forearm in rocks. That is something you can do.
Rock gauntlet. Huh.
And as you can see, Kamiko turning his forearms into water, because that's something he can do.
Which looks really awesome, may I add.
Yeah, actually, something that he can do with water is that he can turn his arms into water, and he can just swing along them as if he's Spider-Man on a web string.
Oh my god.
Oh, like a combination between Spidey and Mr. Fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
More Hydro Man,
I thought
actually.
he was holding swords there for a second.
Yeah, no,
It's water.
No, it's water.
Okay.
It's in black and white, so.
Yeah, and on the first page, I have Chrome breathing fire.
What?
Yeah, I do have Chrome breathing fire. There's Hiyashi with his ice spear, which is, yeah, that's something you can do if you control ice magic. You can turn your entire hand into an ice spear. It's sort of akin to Diamond Head from Ben 10, who can pretty much make a diamond spear with his hand.
Or, seeing as I used a Marvel example, Iceman from the X-Men.
And now, as we get to Lore 3, we shall go over how the aura functions in this world.
Shadow Kamiko.
Yep. So, basically, all magic users possess aura. An aura comes in multiple colors, and most aura colors are determined through which magic the wielder is strongest in. Other auras can be determined through characteristics of the wielder. For example, elemental auras. Red means that you're strong in fire. Blue means that you're strong in ice or water. Yellow means you're strong in electric. Green means that you're strong in earth. Gray means that you're strong in wind.
I always thought of green as the wind element.
Believe it or not, in some cultures, green is attributed to Earth. You know, not Earth as in rocks, but Earth as in the entire landmass. You know, the green grass,
Yeah.
the green moss, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but you know, I can see green being as wind as well. I just went with this just mainly because most like gust storms or whatever you see like as terms like storm clouds, you usually see them as gray.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
it makes more sense that green is earth because of the nature and the grass, especially when you're out in like forest-like places. So it makes more sense to me.
See,
Yeah, that's what I was getting at too.
see,
Yeah,
these,
I get it.
these guys are coming with all these philosophical reasons as to why I did this, but really it's just another Spiral reference.
Makes sense. Actually, yeah, because in The Legend of Spyro, isn't Earth the strongest element?
Yeah, and it's green.
Very true.
Alright, you got it. You got it, bro.
Green is not a creative color.
Shut up, my boy Deku's a good.
Oh yeah, Deco is a
Deku will smash your face in.
Now, as for characteristic auras, If your aura is white, it means that you are pure of heart. If you have a black aura, it means that you have sinister feelings. Gold means that you are dependable, and silver means that you are skillful.
Is that the aura around Kamiko's hand?
Nope, Kamiko has white aura.
Oh, okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
All aura before obtaining their color starts as invisible, and all regular humans, like as we're born, we contain invisible aura, which is why realistically we can't see our aura. But as I stated before, the more that you do go through training with it, the more you can develop it, and then it can eventually become something you can visibly see. But as for aura levels, or the size of aura, dictates the level of power a wielder's magic can ascend to. Low aura basically means barely any magic connection or no connection at all. So, like, this is just simply like, a regular person. Average aura equals magic connection established. So it's like, you have some form of a magic connection, but you still can't exactly see your aura that much. Like, it's still in the invisible state.
Right.
Above average means that you can utilize magic at a competent level, and this is sort of where you can start seeing your aura, and you can actually see, like, what color it is in order to determine, like, what exactly you may end up being strong suited in.
I like red.
High aura equals strong magic connection. Very high, magic is very powerful. Body will occasionally leak aura due to the body's inability to contain all of it.
Oh.
Oh, that sounds...
Is that detrimental, or...?
No, it's not. It just means that you have a lot of power.
Okay, so it's just reactionary.
And then the final one, massive. Remember before McCree got nerfed? Yeah, you're worse than that, and everyone hates you for it.
I wonder which aptitude Kamiko has.
Aura levels can increase through rigorous training, or it can be exhausted through intense use of magic but will regenerate over time. And while aura is necessary for magic, it is not like oxygen. Running low does not kill the wielder.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, Danny, I'm actually on lore page 3 where I am talking about how the aura is utilized.
Alrighty.
Think you will like the image of Shadow Kamiko. Screaming like a man, baby.
Isn't that what he is, though?
Yes.
Opening that last page, installed an update for my paint.net, so that's interesting.
Yeah, that's,
Himself when he's hungry.
Yeah, the next one we are going to be looking at is lore page 4, but just to catch Danny up on this, I'll just let you look over the aura page just to get yourself caught up with things, and by the way, if you guys have any questions on things, don't be afraid to stop me and ask.
Right.
I guess in the meantime, just to keep things moving, is your aura system far more consistent than Ruby's aura system?
Actually, it doesn't work like Ruby's aura system, because like Ruby's aura system, like not only it doesn't like run on like their semblance, but also it's like kind of their force field and like pretty much determines.
So yeah, basically like Ken from The Witcher, it just protects the user.
Yeah, aura specifically just showcases like how strong somebody is connected to magic and how strong their magic can eventually be. Hi, post-edit Realm here to adjust a little flub on this part because I meant to mention that while aura in the Rise to Superior is more so meant to measure someone's magic strength, there are instances where aura can be used as a barrier for protection. However, for this to be possible, the magic user must enter a specific state which allows the aura to not only expel from the body, but to also clump together and manifest into something more solid. And this is only possible if your aura levels are in the high category. I'll be popping in here and there to correct anything I may have flopped up on in the original recording, especially since I'm such a dyslexic dipshit that I can't even read over my own notes without stumbling over words. Anyway, back to the original recording.
Okay.
All it really showcases is just pretty much how strong of a magic user that you are.
Okay.
And the other thing too is that unlike Ruby, where it's like, if you run low on aura, it pretty much means that, you're close to death. Running low on aura does not kill the user. It just, it just gets exhausted the more magic you use. But it can regenerate over time.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much, you run out of aura, it's pretty much the equivalent of having 0 MP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's essentially the best way to describe it.
And I also had at the side that sometimes the color of your aura can be determined by two factors. Either what element you're strongest in, or a characteristic of yours that is very strong.
Okay.
So yeah, Shadow Kamiko up here has red aura because he's prominent in fire, and only fire.
He would like to rage.
Yep. Ryona's aura is yellow, because even though she knows how to utilize 3 different elemental abilities, her strongest is lightning.
They call her Mellow Yellow.
Yep. Chrome is red because his strongest attribute is fire, even though he does know 2, fire is his strongest. And Kamiko is an example of a characteristic aura, where his is white.
Okay.
Pure of heart.
Yep. And now for lore page 3, you mentioned rage before, Jordan.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about how Dragon Rage works.
I would like to rage, please.
You-
that was Chrome.
How Dragon Rage works. It is a rage state in which dragons enter through immense stress or trauma. And there exist 3 levels of Dragon Rage, each with their own boosts and traits. For State 1, this is Draco Rage. Power increased slightly from before, aura intensifies to allow greater output of magic, and pupils become slit. So yeah, you pretty much gain a much more draconic appearance with how your eyes look.
Okay.
State 2, Draco Fury. Power increased by 50% from before, auras intensified more, but aggressions rise. Iris disappears, leaving only the pupil. And then State 3, Draco Wrath. Power drastically increased from before, aura is agitated, and user becomes blind, only able to see through sensing other auras.
So, essentially, blind with rage.
Yep. Unfortunately, the problem with that is that because they can only sense things through aura, they can't exactly tell if what they're attacking is friend or foe.
Oh yeah, so it pretty much may as well be actual blindness then.
The thing, too, is that oftentimes, the other thing, too, about Draco Wrath is that they also can't exactly see attacks coming at them. The only thing that they can see, they can sense somebody's aura moving in a way like, oh, you're about to punch with that hand, well, I can just avoid that. But, like, if you try to throw a weapon at them that doesn't emit aura, they can't see that. But the other thing about Draco Wrath is that it also numbs your ability to feel pain.
Sounds a lot like Berserk.
Yeah, because it kind of is Berserk.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. So, with Draco Wrath, a magic user is the strongest they've ever been, but as a result, they're also kind of vulnerable to more things, too.
Yeah, you're pretty much just a raging animal at this point.
Yeah.
Non-dragons with Dragon Rage develop draconic features when entering this state of rage. Nails grow into claws and canines extend into fangs. In Draco Wrath, if a user completely exhausts their magic, they will fall unconscious. Users can revert back to normal themselves so long as the user has not activated Draco Wrath. Because once they go into Draco Wrath, they can't revert back on their own.
Right.
Reverting back requires calming the user's temper, and the higher the state, the harder it is to calm them. And if Dragon Rage users sense no other targets, they will slowly revert back. If a target is sensed, the rage will continue.
That makes sense.
But yeah, you can see on this, you can see on the image where, like, yeah, Scarwing over here, he's currently exhibiting Dragon Rage, but because he is an actual dragon, he doesn't end up going through the changes that a human would.
So pretty much normal for him.
Yeah. On the right, you see Iwa Kenja, where he actually does have the, he's in Draco Fury, where he only has his pupils, he has fangs, and he has claws on his hand. And then you see Kamiko down here, and that is essentially the state of Draco Wrath.
Basically, the one thing you want to be in short spurts, but not for a long time.
And even then, that's debatable. So that's pretty much all the lore going on, like at least the lore pages that go on with this.
It's pretty well established. And you do have a very hard magic system, which is important for a setting like this.
Well, yeah.
Or don't. It depends on your aura.
It depends on how you want to handle the aura concept. If anyone else has anything they want to add?
I think you covered your bases pretty well.
Alright.
This has been fairly easy to follow.
I just wanted to see, like, just in case anyone had any more questions about it.
Ready to go to the next segment.
Okay. So, now this is where we go over the character bios.
Yay!
Yep.
Starting with Ryona. No, Kamiko.
Yep, character bio number 1. Another vast improvement that I made compared to the first one is that I ordered these appropriately this time instead of alphabetically.
Right.
Before, we didn't actually get to Kamiko until about in the middle of the video because everything was alphabetical.
Right. Yeah, so this is much better organized. Also, fun fact, before we continue, I helped design this armor years ago.
Yeah, I was actually going to get to that because you guys don't have this, but at least to me, to like help me out a bit here, I do have a Google Doc page where I pretty much have different trivia layouts to like discuss more about this character behind the scenes. Let's start things off with talking about the main character, Kamiko Yomi. He is.
I pronounced it as Kamiko, but I guess I pronounced it wrong when I did the voice work of Twilight for you.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
maybe because I know European countries tend to pronounce things differently than we do, names included.
yeah.
Australia is not a European country, but that's another thing for
Oh, my
another
mistake.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, Kamiko, he is age 18, gender male. His height is 6'1". He weighs
He's
about.
tall.
Yeah, he be a tall boy. His weight is 140 pounds. His blood type is O. Eye color blue. Hair color black. And his alignment is the Dragon Army. I guess if you also want to go into more like a traditional alignment, I guess you could refer to Kamiko as lawful good.
Yeah, he totally strikes me as lawful good.
His aura color is white. Aura level is very high. Magic is other magics that he possesses. He has elemental, telepathy. The thing I actually handle telepathy in the Rise of Superior is that it actually kind of works as like a two-way radio where they can actually communicate to each other through their thought.
Is this a Metal Gear Solid reference?
Actually, no, I did not think about the codec conversations until now.
Oh. Because that's immediately what it reminded me of. It's fine. It's perfectly fine and justified. It's just that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, but no, I just thought the idea is like, hey, I think it'd be cool if like these guys could like speak to each other through their minds.
Which might as well be codec conversations if what it's led to be believed.
For his personality, he is headstrong, curious, and faithful.
Makes sense, as he is a good boy.
He is a good boy. He has a creative use of magic, and he has versatile armor. For his weaknesses, dark crystal, unless using dark magic to counteract it, emotional stress, and lack of education. Because as I stated before, Kamiko loses his mom at a very young age, and because of that, he never got to go to school.
Yeah, so that's where the lack of education comes from.
Yeah.
Which
That
includes
is
showers,
good.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did include showers. He did not know how to shower himself until Twilight showed him.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh god.
It makes perfect sense. He,
And you know what? At least he ended up taking a shower. It took like 13 years to do it, but he did it.
Ugh. I don't want to think about it.
So for his bio, Kamiko Yomi, a child who once lived happily with his mother Kitsune Yomi, now lives a life where his existence is the deciding factor of an entire war. Enduring 13 years of pain, he now stands as the dragon's last hope to protect them from enemy forces. With mastery of many elemental powers, he sets out with the dragon army to put an end to the war. His goal, to find the man who made him suffer, save his world, preserve others, and never lose another person close to his heart ever again.
Good boy.
And now, for some of the trivia about him. Contrary to popular belief, Kamiko's armor is actually not based on Mega Man.
Not anymore.
Yeah, don't let the blue fool you.
The blue armor idea was actually ripped from, say it with me, Agent 9 the Space Monkey from the Spyro games. Yeah, although the thing is, Year the Dragon did not have him in a blue armor, but for some reason the Game Boy Advance spin-off games, when they had Agent 9 in them, his armor was blue. Ooh, like, not sure why, but yeah, they were blue in those games.
Came from.
Yeah.
There's no denying it.
That was like a common comment I would get about Kamiko's design, where it's like, oh look, it's a Mega Man. And I'm like, funny enough, I never even heard of Mega Man before I designed Kamiko.
Wait, really?
Weird.
I never actually heard of Mega Man before I started making this character. Yeah, I didn't look.
But obviously he knows him now.
Oh
so
yeah,
those
I
comments
know him.
won't freak out.
Oh yeah, I know him too well now.
Interesting.
X is the best Mega Man.
I was originally going to give Kamiko's suit cleats on the bottom of like his shoes in order to give his kicks a bit more deadly force, but I ended up scrapping that idea when I started thinking about how the traction would interfere with his movement if Kamiko decided to utilize electricity and run at super speeds.
Yeah, the cleats would actually get in the way.
Yeah, so they're just regular boots.
He has spikes on his elbows, though.
Yeah, that he does. Kamiko and a vast majority of the cast were going to be much younger, around 14 to 16 years old, but were changed due to me more so just wanting to work with more young adult characters, as well as wanting to avoid underage issues.
Yeah, we don't want any of those.
Yeah, we don't want people fucking children.
Wait, what?
FBI, open up!
Yeah.
Okay, so this one actually goes into what you were mentioning earlier, Jordan. The current armor design was conjured up by you, actually, who, by the way, commissioned him because he deserves the money and he's a good boy.
Wait, what?
I did add a few tweaks to the final design, but I wouldn't have this armor if it weren't for you, and I absolutely love how this turned out.
Thank you.
If you guys ever want to thank anyone for the armor design he's in, thank Jordan here.
Hi.
Also commissioned him.
I
He needs money.
do, actually.
It's
Don't we
all the
all?
money.
There is a run-on joke that will occur here and there due to my horrible realization of Kamiko's name. So while trying to search for a Japanese name for superior child, I came across a name with a very accurate translation for that, only to find out years later that Kamiko is actually a girl's name.
Oh. You know, it's funny because, my name is actually, used for girls too. It's a unisex name.
It was brought to my attention some years ago where like, so you know Kamiko's actually a girl name? I'm like, wait, what? And they showed it to me. I'm like, oh, I'm not changing it.
Kamiko is fine.
Yeah, so yeah, instead of changing it, whenever Kamiko introduced himself, sometimes he's just asked, why does he have a girl's name?
Yeah.
But you know what? If we can have a boy named Sue, we can have a boy named Kamiko.
Kamiko is the best Disney princess.
He's the best femboy.
One of my goals is to draw him pretty.
Astolfo would like to know your location.
Another thing is that Kamiko's helmet also had a function where he could project a visor. This visor actually would protect his vision along with obtaining aura readings, and he can also see in infrared. I scrapped this idea as I eventually started thinking it was kind of an unnecessary add-on.
Yeah. It was, unnecessary fluff.
Kamiko's aura was also originally going to be purple. Take a guess. Giorno Giovanna, correct.
Oh. I was gonna think it was gonna be another Spyro reference, but no.
No, it is a Spyro. It is a Spyro reference.
Let
I'm just
it be
being.
known, I
It
still
was,
haven't seen
it was.
part 5 yet.
No,
I was trying to think of it. I was trying to think of a joke.
yeah, no,
Joke.
Jordan. No, Jordan. It actually is Spyro. I was just being coy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I
it
was
was a
trying to
motherfucking JoJo reference.
Everybody read.
I was gonna say Barney the dinosaur, but no.
I would have actually
Superior.
I would have actually ended this recording right now if you said that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I stopped myself. That's exactly why I stopped myself.
Yeah. However, I ended up changing it to white as I wanted to have it be a contrast to Mao's black aura, on top of it being more defining for Kamiko's character.
Which makes sense, and adds to the nature of duality.
I also have something on here of, there is a 2-page spread in book 1 of Kamiko's life as a child, where he suffered, where while suffering alone and orphaned after his mother died. 2 specific sets of panels include him being under the care of another orphan who exploited his naivete, and another set that showed him being raised by wolves. As these subject matters will be explored more, any other instance with these panels are there for specifically giving context to what happened to Kamiko during his past, so audience members can see what happens without needing to break the narrative later down the road for basic retreading. Kishimoto, take fucking notes. So, any questions for the not Mega Man?
Nope. Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward.
I was aware of the character before the big changes, so I mean it's nice to hear how drastic it's been since then.
Yeah.
This character's changed a lot since I first saw it in your older videos and stuff.
I still remember the day when I used to draw him as a naked dragon child.
But he still has a butt.
He has to have the butt. I don't know why. I don't know why.
You requested that specifically for me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many times I need to tell people that he needs to have the butt. Actually,
In
Actu-
the butt.
actually,
Nothing.
funny-
What?
actually, funny
In
enough,
the butt.
Danny, you may have inadvertently kind of gave me that idea.
Really?
Yeah, so like, okay, so I think it was during one of our conversations we were making fun of High School of the Dead for its constant like fan service and boob jiggle physics, and I think
Yeah.
I remember you making an off comment going, "Why can't we ever have an anime where guys have a gravity-defying dick?"
Oh my.
It makes sense. I mean, seriously. I mean,
I'm sorry.
look, if you can exploit my gender's titties, I think it's fair game that we can exploit the men's dicks.
So,
God.
DC, when are we gonna have a Catman in an Elseworld story?
And so I started thinking the idea. You know what, Danny? You're right. We have lots of female fan service. We need to get some man service. Here's Kamiko's butt.
And it's gonna stare at you the whole way through.
So yeah, that's the whole idea about why Kamiko's armor is so prominent about showing his butt.
Wait, is that creepy? He's 18.
He's legal.
I mean,
That's a-
no.
Jordan, that's literally the reason why I decided to make him an adult. So he wouldn't. So no pedo claims could be made.
Good.
He's legally an adult.
Yeah, that's literally the reason why. Because like I can't do this to a child.
Right.
I don't have an audio log for Kamiko specifically because I couldn't exactly think of something specifically for him. But he does appear in later audio logs that will be played. But speaking of which, we're actually going to go to the next character bio, being Twilight.
Twilight!
Here's the interesting thing. I do have a specific audio log for her. And Nikki, this is actually one you didn't do for me, but it was actually my friend Kitty Hyper.
Who is a very nice voice actress.
Yeah, she's a nice
Yeah,
voice
she
actress.
really is.
Yeah, the only reason that, yeah, I'm just gonna say this, later on, any other instances where Twilight does appear in an audio log, she is actually voiced by Nikki because a lot of things were coming up on Kitty's end, so she couldn't support me the lines, but Nikki could, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, because currently I have no life because of this pandemic.
Oof.
Thanks, pandemic.
Before we get the audio log out of the way, I'm gonna go over her bio a bit. So yeah, age, she is also 18. Her gender is female. Her height is 5'6". Her weight is 146.9 pounds. Blood type A, eye color blue, hair color yellow, and alignment the Dragon Army. Her aura color is gold. However, her aura level is low, but that's mainly because she's a human with no magical ability, so you'd never see her aura. But if you could, her aura color would be gold.
At least she's dependable.
Yeah. Magic is unknown. Her personality, caring, intelligent, snarky. Strengths, vastly intelligent, independent, social, martial arts expert. And weakness, no magic, unfamiliar territory in terms of where she ends up going. And she can also be hasty.
Makes a lot of sense for someone like me.
Yeah. Yep. As for her bio,
Good in anime setting.
Yep. As for her bio, Twilight Kurano is the first friend Kamiko makes and is sort of a teacher slash big sister to him. After she was mixed up in a near-death situation, she is stuck by Kamiko's side to assure him he has all the support he can get in order to complete his task at hand. If caught in a bind, she has full understanding of self-defense in Bakufudo. Her original ambition was to become a teacher, and now she finally gets that chance of becoming Kamiko's educator.
Ah,
That's
hence the
awesome.
sister dynamic.
Yep. And now, let us open up the Twilight audio log.
Okay, here we go. Twilight.
Yep.
There it is.
Just let me know when you were at 0, and once we play, feel free to react however you see fit.
Okay.
All right, I am at 0.
Me too.
As am I.
Sorry to anyone in the video, for anyone watching, if my mic sounds awful, by the way. I'm hoping it sounds okay.
Well, this.
That's why I'm hoping my phone doesn't pick up the audio.
Well, if I'm actually gonna edit this part out where like I'm going to I'm gonna silence some parts where I'm gonna just input this recording by itself.
Oh, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, so it's all good. All right. In that case, 3, 2, 1, play.
What's taking him so long in there? Kamiko, are you cleaned up in there?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Kamiko, have you just been standing under the shower head this whole time?
Well, isn't this what I'm supposed to do?
No, Kamiko. Here, let me help you out. Water alone isn't gonna get you cleaned up, okay?
It isn't.
No, you need to use the soap to help you get the dirt and grime out of your hair. You take a squirt of this, and you put it in your hair.
The whole thing?
Nah, it's just a handful. Give me your hands for a moment. Now you put it all in your hair. Like this.
Like this?
Yeah. Now run your fingers through your hair.
Like this? Sorry, I'm just kind of new to this still.
It's alright. You'll get the hang of it. Now we just need to get the body washed.
Body wash?
Right. See, the shampoo is to clean your hair. And the body wash is for, well, cleaning your body.
But my hair is part of my body.
Right. But this is specifically for your skin and not exactly for your hair. Same thing with the shampoo. You squirt a little in your hand and then you cover your body in it.
Is this it?
No, come here. We gotta get your whole body. Turn around so I can get your back. Gotta make sure to get your whole body with this stuff. So I'll help you with the parts that you can't reach.
Even down there?
No, you're on your own for that. I'm not touching that.
Good.
That audio.
He doesn't know how.
That last bit though.
He doesn't know how to shower.
It's weird, but if you're in the know, then it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it sounds very ASMR-ish, at least the audio-wise and how it was
It is a
all
little
done.
bit. Then again, everything has a few accidental.
Yeah. That audio log is something that is pulled straight from my comic too, so that's where I did base it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of these
So we can
all these audio logs are things that I do have planned to appear in the in the series one way or another.
Remember, guys, he's been on the road for many, many years.
So as for other things about Twilight, is that her design actually used to be very, very similar to Nomine's from Kingdom Hearts. And by similar, I mean it was the exact same design copied to a T.
Ah.
Oh.
So, obviously, changes needed to be made.
Twilight also used to be more timid, again similar to Nomine. That was changed because I didn't want Twilight to look weak.
And look at her now, she's buff.
Yep.
And I appreciate that.
Yep. Twilight's current design actually was originally made by my friend Scarlet Otaku with some slight tweaks by me. Another thing, I was originally thinking of having Twilight be a nickname based on how her eyes sparkle. Some possible real names I did have for her were either Veronica, Toga, and Ashi.
Ashi! Sorry.
Twilight's original purpose used to be much more of the world builder from a human's perspective. So originally I was going to kind of have her as your basic speedwagon.
Resident
Right.
exposition.
Yep. Yeah, she would be there as a means of giving information to the audience about how things work. This was before she was changed to a more important character as Kamiko's current caretaker. Twilight originally didn't even have a name in previous iterations of the comic. How lazy was that at writing staff? Then Twilight was also originally going to be a black belt, but I toned her down to a red belt due to me wishing to have more room for her to grow as a character.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Makes sense.
Because it's like, yeah, if I were to make her a black belt, it would pretty much be like, yeah, she's pretty much mastered everything within, like, her ability to fight as a character. And because of that, I feel like there'd be nothing for her to actually learn after that.
Yeah, she would probably have nothing to gain if she were. Oh, good job toning her down.
Yeah, like, to quote Piccolo from Team 4 Star, you peaked.
Right.
So, any questions about Miss Twilight here?
Well, I guess, because I know you said you originally she was going to be like the resident exposition character. Has that role gone to another character, or are you like handling like exposition completely different?
I'm handling exposition rather differently, because, like, the way I have it is that a number of characters here just have knowledge on vastly a lot of the other things. Like, the only character that really does end up needing a bit of the exposition or knowledge passed to them is Kamiko, but everyone else is generally knowledgeable. The only other instance where, like, say, even Twilight may need information on is whenever something specifically is going on between the war between dragons and demons, in which, either Chrome or Amara give that kind of information. But generally speaking, every person, like, contributing to the war has knowledge in that area. So there's not a specific character for exposition.
Okay.
Which I can get down with. I'd rather have a well-rounded three-dimensional character instead of just there to serve a purpose.
Anything else in that regard?
Nope.
Okay.
She's nice. I like her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like her too, and I liked that I voiced her.
Yeah. There's yeah. As the one stream where I was drawing her on, she quickly became best girl on that stream.
Yeah, everyone loved her. I remember that.
I was surprised.
It's almost like you're a great writer and artist.
I guess so.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Now, for character bio 3, we have not Spyro.
Hey, it's Blue Spiral!
My God.
But no, he's more than that.
Yeah. So yeah, here we have Chrome. He's one of the main dragons that we are going to be accompanied with. And as we see over here at his bio, age, he is 230 years old because he is a Durgan. Durgans live for a long time. But he's also rather young for that age too, because like 230 is actually pretty young for a dragon.
So, in human years, how old would Chrome be? Early 20s, late 20s?
Hey, Post-Realm again. So, after conducting research, I promise I'd get back to Jordan when I figured this out. So, from my research, 6 human years equals 1 dragon year, which is odd because I figured it would have been the other way around. So, after doing the math, Chrome would actually be around the age of 1,380 in human years. Not so young for us, yeah, but for a dragon, not so much. Anyway, back to the discussion.
For his gender, he is male. Height, he is 16'7", because again, he is a big Durgan. He weighs 1,197.8 pounds. His blood type is B. Eye color orange. Alignment, of course, he's the Dragon Army.
Oh, his eye color is orange. I thought it was red.
Yeah, nah, it's orange.
Okay.
Although to be fair, orange is a really close color to red.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yep. Aura color is red. Aura level is above average. Magic includes fire, ice, and telepathy. And his personality is he is intelligent, attentive, and doubtful. So for Chrome's strengths, he is very tactical, he's informative, and he has great magic control. But his weaknesses are that he's unconfident and he's also frightened easily. So like he has very low self-esteem.
Oh.
So the exact opposite of Spyro.
Yeah.
Relatable.
For his bio, Chrome is a dragon who normally wishes to settle disputes through conversation rather than violence, not due to being a peace lover, but due to his own lack of combat efficiency and self-confidence. After a multitude of life failures, Chrome has seen himself as someone who could never succeed in anything, even if peers propose otherwise. He has great control over his magic and a very intelligent mind for tactical capabilities. However, so long as Chrome believes he is destined for failure, his true capabilities will never be unearthed. Chrome has become a father-like figure for Kamiko and watches over him dearly, even though he feels he isn't suited.
So, good boy number 2.
Yep, and also, Chrome has an audio log, and he was voiced by Jordan.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
hi.
Now, funny enough, while I did say all these audio logs are based off of, like, something within the manga itself, this audio log here is based off of something that I actually took out of the book, primarily because it was something that I was talking over on stream while I was when I would usually stream working on the book. This is all the first narrative dialogue that Chrome has at the start of the book. But I ultimately ended up getting rid of it because people thought it would be much better if this were a scene where it was a more show don't tell kind of thing. And after making that change, I ended up agreeing with that, and that's pretty much how it stuck. But this audio log is still here.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So let me know when you're at 0.
I am.
Danny, Nikki?
Yeah, I'm at 0.
Okay.
What is wrong with my mic?
It's not your mic. It's Discord. Discord's fired.
Yeah, Discord is attacking your audio for some reason.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1, play.
I am not a proud dragon. For many years I tread a bleak path of mediocrity in the eyes of my comrades standing before me. I watch their bloodshed as I retreat to the shadows, praying only for my own life. So, I live to fight, for a battle I prove no use for. And for that, I am not a proud dragon. War, a sordid campaign devised to break hearts, shed tears, and sever bonds. Within the passing time of war, our bodies collapse, and our minds wither with the thought of valor. But mine flees in desperation. I always believed my deceitful genius, finding my intellect greater than instinct. My genius was my valor, and my valor was fallacious.
It sounds so weird listening to myself.
That was the original narrative that was going to appear in book 1, with Chrome pretty much giving off his narration towards essentially the themes of what were going on with how he felt about the war, as well as his own self-critical analysis.
Okay.
Boy needs therapy and hugs.
Now, for trivia on Chrome, majority of the dragons that I have designed for this are based off of dragons from like previous medias before. So like I do have some dragons, like not just specifically like, you know, oh hey look, it's a Spyro with a couple of things added here. There are some dragons where, just as like a little nod in reference to a bit of nerd culture, there are some dragons that have features that you could recall like are on like pre-existing dragons media. Such as how Chrome design is obviously ripped from Spyro, Chrome's design is more specifically taken from The Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, due to the more detailed and gritty appearance that design has to fit in this manga's narrative.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep. And I also had a rule for myself, where if I am to reference a design somewhere, I do have to change it up enough, so that way I can still add my own personal tweaks and designs towards it, as well as make sure that the character, like personality-wise, is not that character in general. Because it's like, as of recent, we can definitely tell there are a number of characters where we can look at designs where we're like, you know what, I feel like I've seen that design before. But there are a lot of instances where I can be okay with this kind of like idea for, or like a character's design, if the writing behind that character can make me be convinced that this is a completely different character.
And given that the main setting revolves around dimension hopping, a few bar designs here and there is a bit justified.
I also made Chrome's wings relatively large in order to scale better with his body so that he has easier time achieving liftoff with his wings.
So that's an immediate difference between him and Spyro. He can actually fly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Spyro.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he can fly into the dragon.
Well, Spyro can, Spyro
yeah,
can
he can.
fly, but selectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, selectively. That's what I was getting at. Because in the main series,
like
he
it.
can't fly. But in other games, he can.
Yeah. Or, you know, he just goes to a speedway or flies through a power-up gate. It's like, oh, look, I can fly now. Sometimes.
I believe I can touch nasty York.
So, Chrome's philosophy of learning two elemental magics opposite of each other derived from one time where he read an entire book backwards.
Huh?
So, pretty much, he kind of explains the idea where it's like, you know, fire and ice are two polar opposite magics of each other. So, like, he thought of the idea of that in order to, if you were to learn fire and go through everything on, like, how it is to harness this, if you do the exact opposite, you could learn how to use ice magic as well. And he got all of that from reading a book backwards.
Huh. Okay. That's, inventive.
Also, Chrome species of dragon actually hail from Dragonal clan, which is actually divided into two separate groups of dragons, being the Artemis and the Athenians. So the Artemis dragons of this clan are pretty much the warriors, and the Athenians are the caretakers. Chrome is actually part of the Athenian side, and there are most Artemis dragons are born males, but there are rare chances that a male can adopt features of an Athenian, and the same is reversed. Chrome has curved up horns to show that he is a male with Athenian qualities, and the thing that why this matters is because the way Chrome's horns are curved up like that, they're not really suited for like actual offensive fighting. They're actually more defensive. Like his horns more specifically meant for like parrying attack.
Yeah, getting out of dodge basically.
The typical voice that I imagined for Chrome sounded like Gary Oldman's performance as Ignitus from the Legend of Spyro trilogy, which you know,
Which I did. Yeah.
I was gonna say Jordan emulated very well.
Yeah, I did my best to perform the voice. Filter aside, I think I did it pretty well.
And yeah, that's all I really got to talk about this character. So, any questions?
The names Artemis and Athenians, they're taken from the Greek goddesses Artemis and Athena, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with Athena being which also fits because Athena is the goddess of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Artemis was a warrior god or a hunting god?
She's a huntress.
Hunting god.
Okay.
Huntress, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it makes sense that they're the warriors.
Yeah, usually like when you go into like Greek and Roman mythology, I believe like it's like Ares/Mars is usually considered the war god.
Yes.
Yeah, Ares is the god of war. Athena is a war goddess too, but she's more of a strategist than a frontline fighter.
Kratos just comes in and is like, did somebody say god?
No, Kratos. There are no gods here.
So, anything else about the boy?
Can I give him a hug?
Yes, you can, Jordan.
Okay. I hug his neck.
If there is nothing else, in that case, let's move on to Character Bio 4 and my friend Heaton's favorite character, Amara herself.
Woo! Of course, it's like, again, the only real exposure I have to this character was the one shot that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So,
she threw a rock at someone.
It was a big rock.
It's a very big rock. In fact, look at them. They're pulverized.
Yep.
Eat your heart out, Killer Croc.
Yep. So, yeah, Amara, age 500. Her gender is female. Her height is 17'2". She weighs 1,249 pounds. She has a blood type of AB. Her eye color is black. And alignment, General of the Dragon Army. Her aura color is green. Aura level is high. Magic Earth, and that's her only magic ability that she has. And
honestly, it's the only one she needs.
Yep. And her personality is she's commanding, strict, and sassy. Her strengths is that she has, well, immense strength, master of earth, and general rank. Her weakness is dark crystal, singular elemental ability, and patience. So Amara is the general of the dragon army. As the dragon realm fell and the militia crumbled, Amara's duties have her jump from being a general, a drill instructor, and a field combatant. Her training is strict, but forges the best soldiers the military could ask for. And when called to the front lines, Amara's vast array of earth magic can become the backbone of her army's assault. She is seen by many by her opposition as a threat, a force of destruction, a prick. But to her people, she is seen as one thing, a champion.
And a champion she is.
And Amara has an audio log, and it's probably one of the funnier ones.
Oh no.
Okay.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah, actually, Danny, Brandon, I showcased this on a stream one time, and I believe Ryan was there too.
Oh god.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ryan lost it.
Yeah. But, I'm going to play it again. Just, for those who probably weren't there for that stream, and also because I fucking love this audio log. My friend Hita Noroni provided the voice of Amara here, and she did a bang-up job with this character.
She's also a fantastic artist, so if you're looking to commission someone, definitely commission.
Oh yeah, he's great with art. But anyway, are you guys at 0?
Yes.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1, play.
Attention! I am pleased to see new faces willing to get beaten in. Old ones are fine, but sometimes you need a new set of bones to put a dent in, you know? Feels great to pound in something new. You maggots may not need an introduction, but considering how much shit will fly over your dumb heads, I may as well reiterate this once. I am Amara. I am the general who commands this army, and I will be your drill instructor for months to come. As long as you train under my guidance, you will master every trick and tactic I pass down to you. You arrive here as scrawny whelplings who cry whenever your mother pinches your cheeks, but you will leave as a weapon, a warbringer of righteousness. These aren't your happy slap contests from the schoolyard. You will be facing hard battles to the death, the kind where blood is shed. With that said, none of you will be given any special treatment. If your partner is seen causing mischief and is rightfully smoked for it, expect the same to be done for you. If your partner gets his ribcage busted over insubordination, expect your ribs to feel the same. If your partner is denied a chance to lick pussy before going to bed at night, expect you to also sleep thirsty. These will be the most stress-filled moments of your time. Like toys, you will be broken, but unlike your disgusting sister who dresses you up like the Tooth Fairy, I know how to fix them. You all start as pop figurines, but you come out as soldiers. Do you maggots understand that?
Sir, yes, sir!
Sir? Now listen here, privates, do I sound like a sir to you?
Sir, no, sir!
Do I have a set of dick and balls down there?
Sir, no, sir!
Have you worked down there, privates?
Sir, no, sir!
Then how the hell do you know if I have a set of dick and balls down there?
Sir, we don't know, sir!
If you shitheads keep up with this sir fuckery, I will bend you all backwards and make you lick your own asshole clean. How about a yes, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am!
Good. Now quit distracting me. That's poor presentation.
Amara is probably my favorite character in this entire story. Because that speech is just so legendary.
Honestly, I'm glad people are really liking her.
I mean, yeah, she has super strong writing and she's hilarious. Which is also proof that not every comedic character has to be a dude.
Yeah. Actually, funny mentioning that. So the first bit of trivia with Amara. Originally, she was going to be a male character, but I changed her to being female upon learning that Amara is a female name. And yeah, sorry Amara, but Kamiko took that running gag, so it's high time you grew a vagina. Also, this is actually a factoid I brought up in the original video I did on this, and I remember it cracked you up, Danny. But, Amara is technically the first character I ever made, predating all the way back as a kid when she was an antagonist for some very weird fanfic play involving Winnie the Pooh.
What?
I comment on this?
Yeah, hi, TP!
Nice of you to drop in.
Yeah, so we got TP here now, and yeah, sure, you can join it. So yeah, we're looking at Amara right now, and I'm going through like some trivia stuff that I put on this Google Doc for me. But yeah, that's the biggest thing about this character. She was originally antagonist for a fanfiction play about Winnie the Pooh.
So you take a look on the Winnie the Pooh wiki, and you take a look list of villains, and you see Amara right there from Rise to Superior. Wait, what?
Why is Winnie the
Is this
Pooh?
another Lucina situation?
Why is Winnie the Pooh arm wrestling a six-armed dragon?
And why is Lucina fighting Peppa Pig? Honestly, I think Peppa deserves it. She's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Peppa Pig immediately hangs up on you.
I can't.
Peppa's dead.
I can't believe Peppa Pig ghosted Lucina. Amara was originally going to have arms scaling down her whole body, but that idea was scrapped due to how painful it was to draw each individual arm and how cluttered they were all together, and how, realistically, Amara would have no movement room if all her arms were just stacked on top of each other.
Very true. Also, scales!
For Amara's design, it is composed of two things. Her body is based on the flying serpent, and she has the head of Charizard. Yeah, which is actually why I do kind of, which is kind of the reason why I do kind of hunt for some Charizard Pokemon cards here and there, because they're good reference materials.
Oh.
No, you just really.
So if you didn't have Amara, you wouldn't care Charizard. Period.
Yes.
Very fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it also doesn't help that when Charizard cards go for insanely high prices.
Which I have! Now, despite being general of the military, she's seen on the field of battle more often than most generals usually are. This is due to how the dragon militaries are raised differently compared to the real-life actual army, and due to the Dragon Realm tragedy that almost wiped them from existence.
So, think Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars.
Amara also has a nasty habit of throwing rocks at people who piss her off. So don't piss her off.
Yeah, don't make her pull a Killer Croc.
And Amara has rocks scaling down her body, which she uses their magnetic forces to levitate herself in the air so she can fly. She can also use them to thrust out like spikes, which are useful for instances when Amara has no ground to use for earth magic, like if she were to ever be in the Dream Realm or the Realm of Nightmares.
Right.
So, any questions? I'm certain TP probably has a lot of them, considering he just jumped in.
Yeah. All the questions. I'll probably be able to hear it, whatever I missed in the recap.
Yeah, when I eventually edit and upload the video. But
So, my answer is, sir, no, sir!
Wait, hold on! Are you calling Amara, sir?
No. No, I'm addressing you. I promise.
Rock! But yeah, no, that's actually another interesting little thing to bring up about this, is that I did technically have Amara in a D&D one-shot, and she was only there for about the beginning portion, and then didn't show up again. But boy, did she make a presence!
Yeah, she's
What's
right,
that?
my character.
Actually, the other thing too about Amara is that she was originally going to be a much more stoic character, and even in terms of a voice, I was originally thinking of her. This was also back when she was originally a male character. I was thinking of her having a Kevin Michael Richardson voice.
Ah.
But she used to be like a much more serious and stern character, as opposed to the much more, in-your-face attitude where she just screams in your face at how much of a fuck-up you are.
Right.
And I think I made the correct decision.
You definitely made the right choice. So she went from Kevin to Michael Richardson to Uzo Aduba.
Yeah, to General Sergeant Hartman.
Oh, I was gonna say Bismuth from Steven Universe.
Wait, no, not General. Drill Sergeant Hartman. Yeah, he was a Drill Sergeant, not
Yeah.
General.
Yeah.
Please no, I have feelings.
Amara don't give a shit.
I know.
She threw a rock at him.
Yep. But with that said, time for character bio number 5 for another character that Jordan and Danny and TP are going to be familiar with.
Weakness to rocks.
Shadow Kamiko. So, Shadow Kamiko, in terms of some of his build attributes, of course they are very similar to Kamiko. Same age, gender, height, weight, blood type. Although his eye color is black, and he is also bald.
So, post-Realm Wars again, because this dude here is a moron who forgot he changed things since making those bios. Shadow Kamiko is not bald. He has black hair. Really stupid black hair, but he has hair. So he's not bald. Idiot.
Ah,
And his alignment is with the Shadow Realm.
of course.
His aura color is red, aura levels above average, magic fire. His personality, angry, vindictive, hateful. His strength, mastery of magic, brutal fighter, and versatile armor. Weaknesses, quick temper, toxic prejudice, and rocks. Fuck you, Amara.
She throws one at him anyway.
God!
Not even like a magic one. She just sort of picks up a pebble, just flicks it. Just...
And it's enough to set him off.
No, that actually does set him off.
Yeah, everything sets him off.
So, for his bio, General of the Shadow Realm, Shadow Kamiko rushes the battlefield with intense bloodlust. His hatred for humans and dragons fuel his desire to burn everything they cherish to the ground. He also has an unhealthy obsession with whatever target his eyes are set on, even going to the point of having nothing but vindictive thoughts about how he'll torture and maim his target. His malicious anger has gotten him into a number of problems with his leader, and it's gotten a lot of rocks thrown at him. But one thing's
Good.
for sure, Shadow Kamiko is a destructive force.
So while he may be the butt of a joke, he's still very dangerous.
Yep.
To be fair, right before he became a joke, he was just that.
Yeah.
Like in the one shot. So
Yeah, Jordan, he'll throw another fireball at you.
Not if I make a deck save.
Kamiko's like, deck save? What deck save? So, Shadow Kamiko has an audio log.
Of course.
Yep. Jordan, your voice for Chrome is in this, as well as Nikki's performance as Twilight. But Shadow Kamiko is in this audio log is voiced by my friend Chief Shadow 1750.
Okay.
So, when you guys are at 0, let me know.
I am.
I am at 0.
All right.
Mhm.
TP.
yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Currently one of the longest audio logs.
Yeah. This is where I started going to bit ham with them.
Tag is over, Chrome. And you should know I'm not the guy who likes to play games.
Shadow General.
I've already killed several hundred people today. One more wouldn't bother me.
The Superior isn't with me right now. You should have no reason to hurt me.
You interfered with me, so you do need to die. Besides, I don't give a damn what you did. If I feel like spilling your blood, there is not a thing in hell you can do to stop me. Oh, give it a rest, you wuss. You really think I'm scared of you, of all things? Of all the years I've known you, Chrome, you've been one thing and nothing more. A coward! Listen to you. You can't even keep up a threatening posture. Your voice is dibbling and everything. You have no battle skills, no combat experience, and you certainly aren't the most adept in magic. You're just a puny little baby, crying for his friends to save him. Over and over again. Just as I thought. You're no warrior, you're no mage, and you're certainly no tactician. I should kill you now, but your stance left me in a good mood. Haven't had one all day with all the meddling going on, so I'll give you a moment to run. And maybe find someone more qualified to be a soldier. Well? Go on! Run! You know you want to!
It's been protracted. So long since I've seen that boy's face. and to finally see he is the superior we found worthy, I can't abandon him. And yet, I do not have the power to defend him. My mind wants me to run, yet my body is standing its ground. Why is my body doing two conflicting things at once? I know I'm not strong, but am I to fight anyway?
You want me to kill you? Because if you do, I won't hesitate. Or are you such a pussy even running away scares you? Come on, what good even are you?
He's right. Even until now, I've been worthless. Couldn't even protect the warrior who our life depends on. I failed my mission then, and even now I've failed. Why am I even here?
Fine. If you're not going to run, then I'll just end you myself.
The human girl?
Twilight!
Don't lay a finger on him!
Filthy, disgusting human.
No, please, stay away from him. His powers go beyond your human capabilities. He's dangerous!
I don't care. He's not only reasonable for my parents' deaths, but he tried hurting Kamiko on too many occasions.
A vengeance seeker. Good. It makes it easier to kill you and the worthless sack of scaled behind you.
He isn't worthless. He did the best he could to keep us away from you.
And look at him now, frozen in spot, crying like a bitch.
Chrome had you interfering, and yet he still got more done than you.
Filthy human. You get no head start.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yep.
wondering when the rocks were gonna come in.
In context of the scene, Amara's not even here yet.
So she will throw rocks at him eventually,
Uh,
just not yet.
Actually, no. I had a funnier thing that happens when Amara comes around. This is the moment where Kamiko actually unlocks the ability to use elemental magic, and taking it by surprise of this revelation, he beats the shit out of Shadow Kamiko. And then that's when Amara comes around and tells all of them to stand down. And then Shadow Kamiko sets his eyes on Amara. And then Amara sends out the ultimate diss at him, where she tells him, "How did you become a general without a star to your name?" And he charges straight at her with the intention of ripping her to shreds, all just for the very next thing to happen is cue the Avenger scene between Hulk and Loki.
Right. he just gets flailed around.
Yep. By the way, I probably should have mentioned this back with the Chrome audio log, but because it also applied there too. Brandon, I actually used some of the music tracks that you made for the Rise of Superior for both this audio log and the Chrome audio log.
Oh, did you?
Yep. That ending piece was one of the ones that you wrote for me.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice stuff, by the way.
Now, as for Shadow Kamiko himself, Shadow Kamiko is never referred to as Shadow Kamiko within the series. Instead, characters refer to him as the Shadow General. Shadow Kamiko is merely a name made for convenience sake for the audience. We know who he is, but, the comic itself doesn't ever refer to him by that name.
Yeah, because if they did refer to him as Shadow Kamiko, then it would, it would tip the dragons off that the Superior still lived.
Hey, Post Realm Wars here once again to clarify that shadows can live longer than the being they are a shadow of. The shadow version is only created when the being they shadow are born into this world. Their lifespan isn't attached to the other and thus will not die if the person in question does. Same goes for shadows. Killing a shadow doesn't kill the thing they are reflecting.
Shadow Kamiko is an exact opposite of Kamiko through multiple aspects. Personalities are opposite. Kamiko can utilize multiple forms of magic, while Shadow Kamiko only has one. Shadow Kamiko actually started out with a wonderful beginning, while Kamiko didn't.
So he's also prissy.
Yeah, that's actually where his ego came from. It's because he was pampered.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, he would be pampered to the point where he would just become the general of the Shadow Realm.
Was it just given to him?
It wasn't given to him. He did have to prove that he was strong enough to have it, and he did.
All right. Okay, that makes sense.
His original armor design was colored green instead of orange before. The other thing, too, is that I made a bit of a story behind how Shadow Kamiko could have this armor. It's because this armor in Context Rise to Superior is actually made by Amara, who wanted to try to make an armor that could be used for any combat situation. The Shadow Realm caught on this and wanted that kind of tech for themselves because they thought it would be really good for their military usage. And they would plan an invasion on them, which the up-frontal assault would be a distraction for the scouts to come in and steal the plans that would be used to make the armor. And while the couplings themselves that summoned the armor weren't taken, pretty much the instructions and intel on how to make them are what was taken, and that's how Shadow Kamiko was able to get the armor for himself.
Sounds like that one shot we played.
Yeah, that's actually what the one shot was based off. It's based off of that. Story. I also changed it to orange because the bright green was an eyesore.
Yeah, green is a very hard color to get right.
I can't believe that the Shadow General was canonically whipped by a chain.
By Mimi
I can't believe he was ever that green.
Shadow Kamiko's face is based after Hanya without his mask from Rurouni Kenshin. The absence of cheekbones was to give him a more sinister appearance. I also primarily wanted to give Shadow Kamiko what looked like a very punchable face.
And I do want to punch his face.
You are allowed to punch him in the face.
I punched him in the face.
Did you do it with a rock?
Now I did.
There you go. You made Amara proud.
You know, I do want to, since I do have the new technology or new assets to work with. I think I did say this before, but I do actually want to remaster some of these songs that I have written for this project.
I mean, I'd certainly like to hear them. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but only do it if you want to.
No, I do want to.
Oh, okay.
Like, then by all means, flex those creative muscles.
I know I can make. I know I can make things sound better than they ever did before.
Yeah, and for the last thing about Shadow Kamiko is that when he has Kamiko's armor, he actually has it before Kamiko does, and this is another parallel to how both of their paths begin to forge. Shadow Kamiko becomes the general upon acquiring it, and Kamiko's destiny of superior begins once he acquires his armor.
No guesses as to how this would eventually end up for Shadow Kamiko.
So, any questions about Angry Boy?
Can I throw a rock at him?
Yes.
Again? Whoosh!
More of a question regarding the campaign. What would happen if we threw a rock at him?
He would have gotten angry.
Would he have taken damage from it, though?
He would have taken 1 HP of damage, and then he would also specifically target you.
That's unfortunate.
Again, he's vindictive.
Worth it.
Is it? Is it, Mimi? Is it?
Anything else?
I think I'm set.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we're gonna go to bio number 6, which you guys are also gonna be familiar with, the Shadow Czar.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
The guy with no AC, but has completely maxed out his evasion stat. So he's basically naked Dunban.
I can't believe it. It's the no you machine.
The thing is, I had an audio log planned for this guy, but unfortunately, Chief Shadow never got back to me with the other lines I needed for it, so unfortunately, he does not have an audio log. Yeah, which is a shame, because the ending of it was going to include Shadow Kamiko screaming and raging like a man-child.
Almost like he is a man-child.
It also would have included me performing a very terrible Russian accent. His age is 71. He is male. His height is 12'7". His weight is 654.4 pounds. Blood type O. Eye color orange. His alignment is the Shadow Realm, and he rules the entirety of it. His aura color is gray, aura level above average, and his magic consists of levitation. Personality is mellow, fair, honorable. His strength masters one of the best forms of magic, immense muscles, intense focus, and his weakness is that he can be a bit too forgiving.
So, surprisingly noble qualities for the leader of the Shadow Realm.
And as for his bio, the Shadow Tsar is the ruler of the Shadow Realm. Despite being enemies to the Dragon Army, his outlook on the war is vastly different from his temperamental general. The Shadow Tsar always goes on about searching for an opponent worthy of his magic, hoping for the one day he can be placed within the battle of a lifetime. He wields powerful levitation magic, allowing him to lift and toss enemies with ease, and a long staff to give him great range in order to keep others out of his circle. He hopes for one day to find that one foe who is strong enough to outmaneuver his magic powers.
He is also very, very big.
He is very big. Now,
He's
for
12'7".
he looks down at Slenderman and goes, "So how's the weather down there?"
Please no.
What are you doing, Culminate?
No, honestly, Shadow Tsar would probably be really good to bring with you on a Slender game, because if he tries to come up to you, oh look, I got levitation, bitch.
Yeah, honestly, he'd probably just levitate Slenderman out of the forest and help get the rest of the pages.
Yeah, Slenderman's just like, oh, what the fuck? That's not fair.
And it's fair for you to keep jump scaring people?
Yes.
The Shadow Tsar is one of the few magic users who doesn't utilize elemental magic. He only has levitation.
Ah. Although his aura is gray, so that would imply that he would be strong in wind magic, wouldn't it?
It would. But that's also primarily because one thing I did forget to add to the lore page is that creatures from the Shadow Realm generally have gray auras. Post-Realm Wars here again to clean up a misconception. While saying shadows have gray auras is partially true, it's also something shared with many realms. The Realm of Nightmares have a dark purplish aura to resemble their unnatural existence. The Realm of the Dead have a green aura, but their green is very dull to resemble the fact that they're dead, and so on. These auras exist within those who, while unable to use elemental magic, have a form of magical connection in one way, shape, or form, with the Shadow Tsar having a magic connection with levitation.
Huh.
Yeah, because, gray is a dark color, and that's usually the color of shadows.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, only reason why Shadow Kamiko has a red aura is because he's proficient in fire.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's just that damn angry, I guess.
Yep. Tsars are a Russian emperor before 1970. Because of this, the Shadow Tsar does speak with a Russian accent.
So the name wasn't just for show.
The Shadow Tsar is based on being the opposite of a real-life leader. I will not tell you who. That is for you guys to figure out.
I think I already know what it is, but I'll let the others figure it out.
Yep. And the Shadow Tsar was originally going to be the Shadow King, but was changed due to Marvel already having a character by that name, fucking X-Men.
Wait, that's an X-Men character? Hang on.
Yeah, Shadow King is an X-Men character.
Oh, look at that, you're right. Oh, wow, he's creepy.
I hope so. His name is Shadow King.
I've never seen this guy before.
I didn't either until I looked him up. So, Shadow Tsar also has a bit more lean build. He also used to have a much more simpler head shape, and was given a more muscular body and a more ogre-like face. This was done to give him a more intimidating appearance.
Which is in direct contrast to his personality.
His staff can function as a magical tool and a melee weapon, for the gemstone at the tip is sharp enough to be used as a spear. And also, his staff was slightly altered for the redesign as well, the original being a plain black pole with a gemstone own sphere at the top, but I changed it to ended up having the spear-like gemstone, and I added the metal prongs on it to give it more stabbing power.
Stabby stabby.
Yep. So, what do you guys have in questions for the Shadow Tsar?
Could we take a minute to possibly guess who his real-life equivalent would be?
Me.
No.
No.
Aw, I wish it was me. No.
I won't participate because I already know the answer, and
Yeah. And even then, I'm not even gonna. Even if you guys were to guess, I'm not even gonna say which person is right.
Not
right.
On stream. No, this has to be a in the story, right?
Not exactly. Like it is based off of a person who does exist.
Oh.
In real life.
Yeah.
Whether they're alive or dead is for you to find out.
No.
We already established this. It's not you.
But yeah. Any other questions about him?
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Other than the fact that he's probably my favorite villain so far.
Yeah.
Does he? How active is he in what he does?
In terms of activity, So he is present for a bit. He is present for like at least a bit of the first story that goes on. Like we do see his presence here and there, but we especially start getting a bit more into him once they actually do start going to attack the Shadow Realm in order to take them out of the war. But the Shadow Czar does have a very big prominent part within that moment.
Okay.
With that said, I guess now we can move on to the next character, the himbo himself, Iwa Kenja Daichi.
Hey, you streamed his art.
That I did.
Can't believe it. I can't believe you support himbos. There's no problem with this. I just can't believe you did. I just can't believe it.
Another post-edit rail moment, but this is addressed later in the video with me again having a bad time putting my explanation into words. It was a while since I changed these bios aside from character portraits, and due to that I forgot I left Iwa Kenja's age at 17. So to clarify, Iwa Kenja is 18. Iwa Kenja, his age is 17, gender male, height is 5'9", weight is 145.7 pounds, blood type B, eye color is actually brown. Even though his eye color here shows it's green, it's because he's using earth magic.
Which, again, if you remember, your eye color changes depending on which element you're...
His hair color is orange. The alignment is he is part of the dragon army. Aura color is green. Aura level high. His only magic is earth because he is the earth dragon sage. His personality is that he is confident, flirty, easygoing. Strength, he's a pupil to Amara, vast array of earth magic, extra confident. His weaknesses, womanizer, singular element, and he's a dumbass.
So you could say that he's dumb as a box of rocks?
Yes.
He is a himbo after all.
Yeah, or, you know, as the trope that was taught to me by Shinana is crouching dumbass hidden badass.
Yeah.
And for his bio, Iwa Kenja is the youngest dragon sage and personally trained by Amara herself. Despite his womanizing actions and desperate attempts to snag a girlfriend, his control over earth magic is why Amara chooses him as a pupil. As a dragon sage, he has a dragon tattoo on his forehead hidden under his rope headband. This tattoo holds access magic energy, which can further boost Iwa Kenja's capabilities. While he's not the smartest guy out there, Iwa Kenja is still a very valiant fighter and fully capable of handling his own, even if he has a woman on his mind too much.
Right.
I did have an audio log planned for him too, but unfortunately, I lost one of the audios to actually do it. So this one is a my bad thing.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but
So who do you have to voice him?
I had my friend Avi voice him.
Okay.
But which I'm also kind of ashamed about because the part that I was missing was some audio stuff for Amara because she was in the audio log, and she actually like goes up to Iwa Kenja asking him a series of questions and almost gets him out as being a homophobe, and she says the line, "Does man-on-man action give you the heebie-jeebies?"
Again, Amara is the best character in the story.
So, Iwa Kenja, originally his hair was going to be a spiky orange, but was actually changed to have a bit of a different hairstyle. Primarily because before he looked a bit too similar to Yahiko from Naruto, and we can't have that. Ripping off Spyro is fine, but anime is where I draw the line. Wait a minute. Iwa Kenja is the youngest of the Dragon Sages. While I do have on this page 17, I did have it as I do have it 18 on this doc because it's been a while since I changed this thing. I might change it back to 18 because again, I'd rather have a story with young adults.
Yeah, I was gonna say he seems younger than what you're going for.
Yeah. Iwa Kenja is quite opposite to his mentor Amara, where she takes things more seriously and has a more cynical mindset. Iwa Kenja is much more laid back.
And probably more free-spirited as a result.
Yep. Iwa Kenja was originally going to be a more serious character, sort of like a miniature Amara. This was changed to make him more interesting of a character, and they also required a character with strong himbo energy.
So, he's basically the Rhine of the story.
Iwa Kenja did go through a multiple number of personality changes throughout different iterations, to more serious, to being a tsundere, to what he is now.
Tsundere?
Yeah, like, I actually had a thing before where, like, when they were trying to rescue him from the Shadow Realm, they're actually fighting with the Shadow Beast, and they're causing such a ruckus that Iwa Kenja is just screaming out, "Would you fucking calm down out there? If you're gonna save me, do it calmly." And yeah, that is Iwa Kenja.
Oh man, I'm not gonna recognize this next character.
Well, before we get to that, any
Spoilers.
questions? Any questions about our earthly dumbass?
Is it Iwa Kenja time?
Does he get a nickname?
No. Okay, I'm just gonna put it like this: the closest thing he gets to a nickname is Amara calling him an idiot.
Close enough.
It's idiot time.
Now it's idiot time!
This man is straight up dope.
Because he is a dope.
Let's go to this next character that I'm certain Jordan, Danny, and TP will certainly have no idea who this is.
Hey! It's our team killer!
I have absolutely no idea who this character could possibly be.
Yep, Ryona Sakudo.
Oh, yeah.
Which, believe it or not, is my second favorite character to write for in the series.
I wonder why.
So yeah, her age is 19, gender female, her height is 5'5", her weight is 111.4 pounds, blood type A, eyes are purple, hair color is, I have it as a slash here because her original hair color is brown before she dyed it blue.
She also has the red highlight.
No, that's actually that's actually her original hair color.
Oh.
And there is a reason for that, but I'll get to it.
Right.
But her alignment is the Dragon Army, her aura color is yellow, aura level is high, magic is ice, electricity, and wind. Her personality is stoic, sarcastic, and emotional. Her strengths is that she's skilled in swordsmanship, incredible speed, pinpoint precision. Her weakness is dark crystal, traumatizing past, and bitterness towards men. And for her bio, Ryona is a swordswoman who excels at levels beyond even the elite in the Dragon Army. With her trusted blade, I changed the name since then, but it now goes by the name of Ryu, which can slice through many in the blink of an eye. Her precision and technique are so powerful and fast, it's believed she can cut through enemies without getting a splash of blood on her blade. Ryona is very fond of women, but has a deep hatred towards men due to a traumatic experience. The only man who has ever earned her respect is her mentor Hiyashi, but towards any other being, she goes from a stoic and upstanding woman to a cruel and bitter person.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And now to open up Ryona's audio log.
Here we go.
Yep,
So Jordan TP, I apologize ahead of time for ruining the immersion.
Oh no.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Danny helped me out with voicing this character. This is also another one where Nikki helped me with the voice of Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you are all at 0, let me know.
I am.
Yep.
Alright. So, 3, 2, 1, play.
Well, there she is. You want to get this over with?
Yeah, I want to know why she seems to hate me so much.
Hey! How's it going?
Oh, Twilight! Hi!
I'm sorry if you're in the middle of something, but I was hoping to talk to you.
Oh, not at all! Sit down. What's up?
Thanks! Well, see, it's not really me who has questions, it's Kamiko.
Ryona, you mind if I ask you something? I think your sword is cool. You mind telling me about it? Does it have a name? Twilight, she isn't answering me.
Hey, Ryona. I think your sword is cool. Mind telling me about it?
Of course! While under Master Hayashi's tutelage, he found my skill in the sword beyond exceptional.
Wow. Really?
With my combination of magical abilities and my precision in cutting, it molded me into a warrior only a little girl could fantasize.
Does it have a name?
Crafted from the lightning crystal, this sword carries the name Ryu.
Whoa.
That sounds so cool.
So do you like sword combat?
What about your magic?
And the magic?
It only serves to mold me into a stronger warrior.
Why are you answering her questions just fine, but despite me having the same ones, you ignore me?
So, why are you ignoring Kamiko's questions but answering mine?
Because it's none of his business to ask me questions.
What do I have to do to get you to realize I'm on your side?
Kamiko, please, calm down.
Calm down? I've been nothing but nice to her, and all she's ever done is treat me like I'm some lowly pile of trash. What's your deal? What did I ever do to you anyway?
Let me make this clear to you. It's not what you did, but what you are.
What am I? You mean a superior?
No, you idiot. What you are is something I can never trust again. You think I see you as trash? That's too nice. To me, your kind is nothing more than a disgusting subspecies of animal waste. You're the corrupt side of the human race.
What?
I don't care if they call you the superior. I will never look up to you for anything.
Ryona,
Stop talking to me!
all I ask is for a bit of cooperation. You don't need to do anything much in return. Let's just...
Ryona, stop!
You're lucky you have good people looking out for you. You're also lucky you're seen as someone important to the dragons. Otherwise, you wouldn't be surviving for so long. Keep pretending you're some upstanding human being. The one thing more disgusting than a man is one who plays the nice guy to get what they want.
Ryona,
Just shut up.
I just wanted to know what I am.
Cuckoo.
But no, it's completely justified.
Yeah, I'd hope that eventually, like she gets over it or something. Like,
I mean, of course.
like I'm not saying that there aren't skinny men, but like
on that note, I would like to say this was one of the changes I asked when Brian was going to bring Ryona into the Abode campaign, the D&D game I run once every Thursday.
Every other Thursday.
That's what I said. That's literally what I said to you.
I didn't hear the other.
Pay attention, please! Anyway.
I didn't hear
I asked for that little change because it's an integral part of her character in The Rise to Superior. But for a D&D campaign, it would have made player interactions almost impossible because we have 3 guys and 3 girls in the same group.
And I understand being closer to one side than the other. I mean, even with that, like, sometimes it just rolls that way.
I mean, no, that's not the problem.
I know. It's more just if it, like she needs to interact with the guys in a campaign, so it had to be toned down a bit.
So
I noticed only a bit though.
Yeah, but as for Ryona herself as a character, Ryona was pulled from multiple different inspirations at once. Saiko Busujima from High School Today gave me the idea to make a swordswoman to begin with. Her design is somewhat inspired by Lyn from Fire Emblem, and her swordplay is based off of Kenshin Himura.
Naturally.
Ryona has also had the most design changes out of any character. Like, there was a moment where she used to just be in a schoolgirl outfit. There was one where she was in a much more skimpier outfit before I ended up changing it to just full-on armor. She also went through a lot of different kind of hairstyle changes as well, until I eventually just stuck with this. Ryona has also been through other many changes as well, even a name change. Like, her original name, I was actually going to name her Satoko. Yeah, but then I changed it because I needed something more fitting with the fact that, you know, she isn't in terms of personality, she can be an ice-cold woman.
Right.
So Ryona's sword name is Rairyu, which literally translates to lightning dragon.
Oh, right.
And also, when doing anything with Ryona, I find myself living to Evanescence due to me imagining Amy Lee being Ryona's singing voice.
Huh. Makes sense.
Ryona was also originally a foreign Japanese woman in the original iteration. This was before the series changed locations from America to Japan, so she wouldn't be foreign. And she is also my first lesbian character, and I even made an image for LGBT Month involving her.
Oh, that's
Ryona
nice.
is awesome.
Any questions about Ryona?
I assume I missed who your favorite character to write for is. Why is she your second favorite?
Ryona is my second favorite, primarily because I actually kind of enjoy the handling of a bit of her character growth here and there, as well as just the idea of being able to explore the mind of somebody who, while, yeah, you can argue does have some rather sexist thoughts, it's not exactly an instance where you can say she's wrong for having them.
Right.
Exactly. So, it's her distaste towards men doesn't come off as, preachy, because she has every right to feel the way she does.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a part about it that I really do like, the fact that she isn't preachy about it at all, and it is much more about herself, which I think is a much more interesting angle to take this sort of thing.
Yeah, that's actually something I know in media, and I think this is something that unfortunately a lot of people are either completely forgetting or not even willing to explore. For whatever reason, people, they don't want to see any characters that are sexist or racist or anything, and they understand why, because it's a very touchy subject matter, especially with what's going on now. But I've always believed that, that being the case, it should never hold you back from making a character who, does exhibit racist or sexist tendencies. All that I ask is, if you decide to make that kind of a character, you better give a really damn good explanation as to why they think the way they do. Doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but at least explain why somebody thinks like this. I mean, something has to have happened to you, or you had to have been taught, to have those kinds of hateful feelings. So if you're going to have a character like that, you've got to at least explain it so we can see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And, there's, Ryona having an abusive father who kills her mother and beats her up on a near-daily basis, having a bunch of men constantly hound-dogging her because of her looking sexy, and also one time when she was at an orphanage, she did meet a kid who was a guy, but was very extremely friendly, only for him to end up being adopted and then killed the next day by their abusive adopter, with Ryona pretty much then having the mindset of nice men just aren't allowed to exist, and if they do, they're immediately purged.
Fuck. So that's why she didn't buy Kamiko's personality being genuine.
Yeah.
Because if he was, well, in her mind, if he was, you probably wouldn't be standing here. So there's got to be something to you.
Yeah. It took Hiyashi a while to get the respect from her, despite, he himself being a guy.
I'm also assuming that either this... to also build off of what Danny was saying earlier, you can have racist or sexist people in media, but unless they're already being portrayed as villains, learning to grow out of that, I guess?
Yeah, there is a sense of learning, it is definitely a sense of Ryona needing to learn how to see that there are exceptions out there for herself. Because the other thing is that you could go up to her and tell her there are exceptions, and she could look at you and say, yeah, I know. But how do you explain the other 99 times where I was proven right?
So, D&D Ryona, if she's neutral good, what would Rise to Superior Ryona be?
I kind of want to say she'd just simply be neutral.
Yeah, true neutral.
Yeah.
I'm in full agreement of that.
That being said, she certainly does butt heads with Iwa Kenja here and there.
Oh boy.
Oh, I can just imagine their interactions. Also, her one true love is Dora Saradwin.
So, anything else that you'd like to know about Ryona?
Not much else, honestly. I'd rather see her development as it comes along.
One thing I will say, because I did say I would explain it, when Jordan brought it up, is that one brown streak that she has in her hair, which is like, yeah, that's her original hair color. It's supposed to be symbolic as a means of that Ryona has at least one person she can fall towards, and that is Hiyashi. That resembles her trust with him.
Right.
Which, yes, that would mean if she were to ever eventually get Kamiko's trust, she'd have 2 streaks in her hair.
So her hair is representative of the planet.
Well, it's more so representative of the people who she trusts.
I think that's what I meant. I just used the wrong words.
Yeah.
Word choice is not my strong suit.
With that out of the way, then we can get to the next character. And Danny, I think you said you had to go to bed after we went over Ryona.
Yeah.
All right. So our next character is Hiyashi Setsuko. And this man here is Ryona's mentor.
And he's one cool dude.
He is one cool dude.
And holy shit, he's massive. 6'7"?
Hiyashi Setsuko, age 31, gender male, height 6'7", weight is 185.9 pounds, blood type A. His eye color is orange. Again, here his eye color is blue because he's using ice. His hair color, bald. Alignment, Dragon Army. His aura color is blue. Aura level is very high. Magic is only ice because he is the Ice Dragon Sage. As for his personality, he's calm, stoic, and aloof. His strengths is that he's always calm under pressure, well-spoken, observant, and his only weakness is to Dark Crystal.
Oh, so he really doesn't afraid of anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Hiyashi would be that kind of guy where, like, you probably bring him into, like, maybe some amusement park haunted house, and something scary is to pop up, it frightens everyone, and Hiyashi's just standing there, he goes, cool prop.
Don't bite.
So, for his bio, Hiyashi is an Ice Dragon Sage who is often described as one thing, chill. You never hear him raise his voice, get angry, or even show frustration. His mentality is as cold as the element he masters. This is because during his training to become an Ice Sage, he physically and mentally prepared his being to never be fazed by what's before him. To physically enhance himself, he did physical training until his muscles gave out. He'd sit under cold waterfalls to endure harsh weather. He'd jog for miles even if his legs were about to give out, until his body was naturally built to withstand all the obstacles before him. As for his mental preparedness, just don't search his web history.
Oh my god.
What are you saying?
I'll leave that to your imagination.
I mean, he did say that he was prepared for anything physically and mentally, so...
Yeah. It also plays into a bit about how his storyline goes, and similarly to how Ryona's storyline kind of dealt with sexism, Hiyashi's unfortunately does deal with a bit of other forms of prejudice.
Indeed.
Racism!
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So how he essentially grew up is that, yeah, he would eventually, a lot of his life, he would grow up being mocked for having something different from him. But instead of using that as, like, something to feel ashamed about, he would improve himself in that area. Like, he would be made fun of for being, he would be made fun of for looking weak. So, that's why he started working out, and he started becoming stronger and much more built because of it, and people stopped making fun of him for looking weak. And then, people started saying that, he's also a bit on the boring side of his personality, so he actually started training himself to be a bit more positive and upbeat about things. And he'd stop being made fun of for that too. Then there are some people who would start making fun of him because, oh, you don't actually know how to beat people up, so anyone could beat you in a fight just by how built you are. So he joined the wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually started getting stronger from that, and he started becoming so good in terms of like people who he'd be participating in sports in. He actually would go pro eventually. And then while he ends up facing one opponent, he does beat them down senselessly, and then he drops the big thing on them where he mocks him for his appearance.
Oh, yeah.
And it was then at that point, he realized now he was being criticized for something that he could never change about himself. But it was at that point, he does adopt the mentality of, sometimes there are just some things that you can't change about yourself. And if people are going to judge you for it, then that's their problem.
Healthy way of thinking.
A very healthy way of thinking. Honestly, Hiyashi's a really good role model for that sort of thinking.
That's actually kind of the thing I was going to be going with, because like this, yeah, I was thinking much more about how I wanted to handle him, especially during when BLM was became a much more trending topic. And I started sitting here and I kind of wanted the idea of Hiyashi at the very least being a kind of character that, black people could look up to.
Which is really amazing. I think you handle him in a very respectable and interesting way.
So yeah, like the big lesson he just gives is that, people start judging you for things you can't change, then don't bother.
Yeah, they're not your problem.
Yeah. Like, if you're happy about the kind of person you are right now, then that's all that matters.
I know I was going through it this past month over things I'm not going to talk about in the video.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
As for some trivia about him, Hiyashi is the second strongest of the sages. And Hiyashi's...
For obvious reasons.
Yep. And his ice element is to complement his aloof and down-to-earth nature. And just like in the bio, he tends to never raise his voice even when angered. And although there are different colored scene characters in the series, most of them are regularly background characters. Hiyashi was Hiyashi was to have at least one thing of importance in the story, because it's like I didn't want to just fall into the stereotypical token black character. And then
you made him way more than that.
Hiyashi was made in response to Iwa Kenja, while making new dragon sages outside the ones previously existing and carried over to the current story. Spots began to open up for multiple sages, specializing in specific elements of magic. Iwa Kenja was Earth and had a rowdy and rough personality. Hiyashi was then made to fill in the Ice category, where he was much more aloof and relaxed. And you could even say, chill. Okay, I'll stop. Hiyashi is the only sage who doesn't hide his dragon tattoo aside from one other sage. And that's mainly because Hiyashi actually has more control over his. Iwa Kenja needs to have that headband there to cover it up, because if it's uncovered, the magic just pours right out of it and he doesn't have much control over it.
Oh.
The other thing too about Hiyashi is I do like his relationship with Amara. It's like, so while Amara has no issue getting down on like some people for slacking off or being idiots, Hiyashi is one of the few people who could sit around Amara and wisecrack, and Amara she has to just take it. Like, one line of dialogue I had between them is that, Amara and Hiyashi are sitting there talking about, how intimidating of a figure Amara is. And then Hiyashi's like, well, you're quite the terrifying general, I can say that for sure. Scare the pants off of nearly anybody you yell at. Well, almost everybody. You seem upset about that. I did also have a planned audio log for Hiyashi as well, but I could not find anyone to voice this character.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. But, yeah, so any questions about Hiyashi?
No, I think we're all set.
Yeah, you said he was Ryona's teacher?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so I wonder how that worked out. How that played out.
Okay, well, tell you a bit of this. Hiyashi does actually tell... This was actually going to be in the audio log that I was going to do. It was actually Hiyashi telling Kamiko a bit about Ryona's history and what she went through. And also when he first ended up meeting with Ryona. This was when she was, like, actually still a young kid. Like, she was 13 at the time. And she was out in the wilderness taking care of herself. And instead of a sword, she beat people with a stick.
A fine substitute.
Yep. And so Hiyashi actually approached her. Yeah, she was very distrusting towards him because, again, he was a man. But, Hiyashi actually went about it rather respectively, stood his distance away from her, and actually did a bit of talking with her, saying things like how, pretty much just, asking how she is, what is she doing, and then how does she feel why does she feel the way that she does. And the one line of dialogue that Hiyashi says that actually gets Ryona to, like, open her eyes and actually hear the guy out is that, so, more than likely, you're trying to deal with people trying to see you in a certain way and only noticing those qualities. I know how that feels. And yeah, that's when they actually start talking a bit more. And this is also a moment where Ryona was about to get beaten up by some dudes who she beat up for catcalling her.
Oh.
And then that's when Hiyashi stepped up and started kicking their asses.
Big brother Hiyashi.
Handle that.
It's like, here, take these hands. And then Hiyashi actually looked at Ryona, and that's when he offered to help make her stronger, so that way she could rely on her own strength.
And that's the reason why she has that one free streak in her hair.
Yep, but Ryona would actually have a couple of mentors because Hiyashi is her main one, but she would be taught how to use electricity magic through a thunder dragon. And wind, she actually picks up on that one by herself, which, actually did impress Hiyashi, but it also did make him happy because this was the kind of thing he was expecting for her to go through, being able to train herself to do something that he wouldn't be able to teach her.
Big brother Hiyashi.
And another thing, too, is that because he's so big, the zipper on his robe broke.
Yeah.
But he's cool with it.
Yeah, being 6'7" would do that.
And being that thick, too.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
I think we're set.
I think we're good there.
All right. So, onto the main antagonist, Mao Kuropoi, aka Kamiko's mommy killer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the bastard.
Yep. So he is age 52, gender male, height is 6 foot, weighs 185.3 pounds, blood type O, eye color is orange, hair color is silver, as you can probably tell.
Mm-hmm.
And his alignment is with the demon. His aura color.
Alexander Vega Arc would like to know your location.
His aura color is black, aura level massive, and his magic is elemental, portal opening, telepathy, and sensory. His personality is that he is vindictive, hateful, and vengeful. Strengths, vast variety of magic, battle tactician, large pool of energy, and his only weakness is his vindictiveness. Thing is, though, it's nowhere on the same lines as Shadow Kamiko, so in a way, Mao doesn't really have any apparent weaknesses, which I did want because the thing I wanted about Mao specifically, I wanted him to be threatening. So, for the bio, Mao was a dragon sage, one of the strongest of them. However, years have passed and has gone rogue. His only motivation seems to be vengeance against those whose praise became betrayal. He also holds extreme bitterness towards Kamiko. The full extent of his power is currently unknown, but Mao is a very dangerous man nonetheless. With very few weaknesses, great control over magic, and a cold heart, Mao has no fear taking down anything that opposes him. And I still assume Alex wants to find him.
Yes, I do.
Mao in earlier iterations was actually a teacher kind of character and not a traitor to the dragons, but ultimately in the end, he would become an antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, there were plans for him to go traitor eventually until newer iterations where he just begins as a traitor. Mao only had a slight change in his design, that being the burned robe. This was a last-minute decision based on how he kills Kitsune in a fire explosion, leaving only his robe charred. And the charred robe also added in the fact that Mao's allegiance with the dragons has been dropped.
'Cause he's a bastard.
Yep. Mao was also originally going to be a lot older than originally. This was changed due to his physical appearance not matching said age at all.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yep. And Mao is the only sage that doesn't have a dragon tattoo on his forehead, because he did not need one. He was already stupidly powerful.
Yeah, his aura level being massive, which is interesting. Also, his aura color is black, meaning he has sinister thoughts, so maybe he was doomed from the start?
Well, the thing, too, is that while I did have the idea of sinister thoughts, that didn't necessarily mean that that would translate to you being a bad person. What more so the idea around sinister thoughts is that, there are some times where maybe you think a little too sadistic.
Yeah. You get too into the bloodshed.
So, how about that Mao?
I hate him. He killed Kamiko's mom. You don't just do that.
Okay, one criticism. Is his one arm backwards?
No.
The left arm.
Oh, the left arm. No. It's just at a different angle.
Okay.
Next, we'll go on to the next Dragon Boy, known as Zaragan, aka Scarwing.
His wings are torn up.
And there's a reason for
Probably
that.
hence his name. Yeah.
This is Chrome's older brother. So for his age, he is 357, gender is male, height is 7'3", Weight is 1,234
Don't tell me
pounds.
17.
Yeah, 17'3". Weight is 1,234 pounds. Blood type A. Eye color red. Alignment Dragon Army. His aura color is invisible. His aura level is low. Magic, none.
Yeah, he has no magical prowess.
Yep. And his personality is he is headstrong, prideful, and hardy. His strengths are that he has brutal fighting tactics, bulky endurance, constantly acquires second wins, and his weaknesses is that he has no magic and unable to speak, and he's reckless. So,
But how does he communicate?
by grunts.
Oh.
So for
It's the way.
his bio, Zergan is Chrome's older brother. Unlike most dragons, Zergan was born having no ability to tap into his aura. Because of this, he can't use magic, unlike his brother, who's well versed in the art. However, as a physical fighter, Zergan is unrivaled. His attacks hit hard, exert great pressure, and is tough enough to endure incredible pain and continue powering through. Despite having disadvantage against magic users, Zergan still stands tall with sheer tenacity. This was due to an event where Zergan nearly lost his life protecting the honor of his brother Chrome. As a result, his brother was covered in scars and his vocal cords were forever melted, only allowing him to grunt and roar.
Fuck.
But the amount of pain his body went through actually toughened his body, allowing him to tank more than most magicless dragons could handle. His feats, even at a younger age, have earned him the nickname Scarwing by Amara herself. So yeah, he did used to have the ability to talk, but after what happened with him nearly dying, yeah, his vocal cords got fucked.
That's an understatement. I mean, melted?
Yeah.
I'm a little curious to see what he did to protect his brother to withstand such damage.
Oh, what he did? So a bunch of bully dragons were picking on Chrome, and they threw something of his into a cave full of dark crystal. And Zergan offered to charge through and get it back for Chrome. And you know how dragons are with dark crystal.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was taking the full brunt of it.
Ooh, he's a badass.
He definitely.
I mean, like, the phrase, you're brave hero but stupid comes to mind.
Yeah, but, definitely barbarian.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, because of the conditions of his vocal cords, his only means of communicating are, like, the typical dragon noises, like grunts, roars, and whatnot. For his trivia, due to Scarwing being Chrome's brother, his design, too, reflects Spyro's. Scarwing was originally going to be an Earth Dragon like Amara. The change was made, though, due to Iwa Kenja already being the apprentice Earth user and leaving Scarwing with no identity. Scarwing, just like Chrome, hails from the Dragonal clan and is part of the Artemis Dragons. This is distinguished by his horn shapes, which are designed more for combat. Opposite to his brother Chrome, who typically isn't confident in battle, Scarwing is vicious, resorting to biting, tail swipes, horn stabs, and slashing claws. And due to the holes in Scarwing's wings, his flight is limited to only extending his jump reach.
So, I doubt he can glide, too.
Yeah, he can't. Scarwing was made simply due to my urge to make a character covered in scars.
Oh. So it's that. So it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to specifically make this guy a character because I kind of just wanted a cool character.
And Scarwing does seem pretty cool.
Yep. And also, in previous iterations of the Rise to Superior, back when the series was called Realm Wars, Scarwing was actually one of the 4 dragon gods that Kamiko had to confront in order to gain strength.
Ah.
So
would you say, along with Amara, he's one of your dragon characters?
Yes.
Cool.
Anything you'd like to know about Mr. Scarwing here?
Not much else. I think you covered out the bases.
Okay.
So how many non-magic characters are there that are actively in the plot?
Not many. Like, Scarwing is the
Twilight's
only
another one.
Yeah, Scarwing's really the only prominent one, aside from Twilight. Because, actually, I did originally have the idea of wanting to give Twilight the ability to use dragon magic, but I ended up scrapping that idea.
Because it's more interesting for her to Batman everything.
Yes. Plus, she's capable of herself without needing to use magic.
Again, Batmaning it.
If nothing else, then the next character we have is Kamiko's mom, Kitsune Yomi.
Oh no, she's cute.
That was my hope. I wanted her to be cute. For Kitsune Yomi, her age is 25, gender female, height is 5'8", weight is 165.5 pounds, blood type A, eye color green, hair color brown, and her alignment is the realm of humanity. She doesn't actually fight in the war with the dragon.
Yeah, she doesn't look like a fighter.
Yeah. Her aura color, invisible. Aura level, very low. Magic, none. Personality is that she is perky, charismatic, playful. Strengths, very loving, smart, responsible. Weaknesses, average human, has to die for character growth.
Oh.
Yeah, because she's, yeah.
Yeah, so for her bio, Kitsune Yomi is Kamiko's adoptive mother. After a fateful encounter with Chrome one night, she took it upon herself to find Kamiko a comfortable home to live. It was later decided the best partner for Kamiko was Kitsune herself, so she takes him in and raises him until the age of 5, where Kitsune loses her life to Mao. Kitsune instills all her teachings onto Kamiko, thus her being Kamiko's drive of morality. She's also good with medicine.
So I can imagine, as a result, there isn't really much else to say about her.
Nah, she only has like a couple of things. Where, yeah, for one thing, her mannerisms are heavily inspired by Kushina Uzumaki from Naruto. Her hair was originally going to be purple, but was changed to a darker brown, mainly because I wanted to use more natural hair colors.
Yeah, which makes more sense for her being from the human world. Which is actually interesting on that note, because Ryona's hair is only blue because she dyed it blue. Her natural hair color is actually brown, but she dyed it blue, which actually adds credence to anime hair color.
Yeah, but it's like that's primarily just due to the fact that that's also to, again, showcase the fact that she is kind of a cold woman.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I originally imagined her with a deeper sounding voice until one time my good friend Ronnie, Scarlet Otaku, recorded lines where she had a higher pitched voice. So my idea of her voice is different thanks to that.
Thanks, Ronnie.
And the last bit of trivia, she dead. I mean, facts are facts. Sorry if you don't like it.
I don't like it, but I will accept it. Yeah. Fuck you, Mao!
So, anything else?
I assume she can't do anything while she's dead.
I didn't want to say it, but...
In that case, time for a bit of a drastically different looking art direction here. We have our next character, Nightmare.
Hi!
His age is unknown, gender male, height is 14'3", weight is 878.3 pounds, blood type O, eye color none, alignment the realm of nightmares. His aura color is black, aura level high, magic is fear manipulation and fear manifestation. His personality fearsome, malicious, apathetic. Strength can paralyze people through their own fears and expert in sword combat. Weakness struggles against those who can overpower their fear.
Fuck. So he's Scarecrow as a knight errant.
Yep. And for his bio, little's known about Nightmare, as goes the rest of the realm of nightmares. Aside from having control over fear, and Nightmare being born from a dream from the Queen of England a long time ago, nothing else is known of him, as the realm of nightmares are not conducted to under the laws of logic or reasoning. Same goes for its inhabitants, and that is the scariest part.
Oh.
So pretty much, the whole idea around the realm of nightmares is that if something looks like it doesn't make sense to you, or something just seems out of order, doesn't matter, because that's just how fear works. Sometimes you can't explain it.
Right.
And also, this man has an audio log.
Oh, he does.
Yep. I believe this is the last audio log that we have.
Yep,
funny enough.
number 6.
Yep, funny enough. I actually made this one, like, at the very last minute. And the person who helped me with voicing Nightmare is my friend Adams Wee.
Oh.
Who, for the record, like, I got him primarily because I felt the best way to get the best British accent is to get someone who actually is British.
Fair.
So, let me know if you were at 0.
I am.
Yep.
And, Brandon. Alright. 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, wub-wubs.
projection has been slain.
It matters not. I already have what I needed.
Sir, he is close to our position.
Hold the door. Keep him distracted for a little while longer. Summoned power. Trapped within this girl. Suffering troublesome deep. They're more than just nightmares. They're scars of her past.
The top is right there. Come on, Kamiko. Remember why you're here. Remember who's up there. Remember who you are now. Nightmare.
Superior, you are far too late. I have already fed off this woman's phobias. And now, I have greater than I have ever possessed.
Let her go.
The Lightning Warrior.
She's been through enough. Let her go.
Unfortunately, I haven't saddled the power yet. There's so much to take, but with the Superior here, can't take it. I'll need to use what I have and knock him off the tower, so I can take the rest and become unstoppable. Superior, you seem eager to pull this woman away from me. Then come and take her if you can.
Ryona, just hold on. This guy's going down.
Well, come forth, Superior! If you are worthy of our blood, you will fight. Unless you do not wish to be this woman's savior.
I'm not here to be a savior. I'm here as her backup.
Steal your nerves, dragon.
Level up.
Sorry, that was my phone.
Please add that in post.
So, I scrim.
You did scrim. You scrim very well.
We talked about that last night.
I did.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it's all good. During that moment, so to give context to the scene, Ryona's actually strapped to a machine that Nightmare is using to extract her fears and transfer into himself as power. And because Ryona has been so deeply traumatized, the amount of power he can take from her is damn near limitless.
Yeah. Ryona's led a pretty fucked up life of her own.
But, like, the other idea, too, because there was a line I did add to the script afterwards, just because I wanted to make sure that this scene was Kamiko going to save Ryona, not just in the terms of, like, oh, it's the whole damsel in distress trope, but because, I wanted Kamiko to save her as a means of getting an ally back. That's why he specifically refers to himself as backup.
Because in normal circumstances, Ryona would totally handle this.
Yeah.
Because she's fucking Ryona.
So, as for Nightmare, he was created in response to the Shadow Czar's creation. With the addition to other realms, a leader was needed for the realm of nightmares. The Shadow Czar was made for the Shadow Realm, and soon afterwards, Nightmare was made for the realm of nightmare. Nightmare is also one of the few characters to have been conceptualized within another plane of existence. His existence came from a nightmare the Queen of England from the real world had, and now exists within the realm of nightmares. His existence is proof for multiple worlds existing in other planes of reality, even ones that appear similar to our world. Nightmare and everything within the realm of nightmares were made with a different art style to create a more jarring environment. And I primarily just wanted to go for like a more gritty, realistic kind of design here, like kind of similar to more of like your traditional horror kind of art style.
Yeah. Again, I'm thinking back to the Scarecrow sections in Arkham Asylum.
You know, that's why, like, on the actual character bio here, compared to everyone else, he doesn't really have any black outlinings here. He's all just, like, there is no outlinings. It's just, you know, thick colors, textures, and harsh shadow.
Yeah, so he looks visually distinct, which adds to his uncanny nature.
Yeah, which, you know, Realm of Nightmares, that's the point. It's supposed to look uncanny.
Yeah.
The other thing, due to Nightmare coming from from A Nightmare of the Queen of England, he too has an English accent. And while Adam didn't necessarily do the kind of voice I was imagining, I was already on a bit of a time crunch anyway, so I just took what I had, because his performance is still relatively good. But the other thing about it is that his accent would be very husky and cocked.
Post-edit Realm Wars again. Not here to correct anything, I just want to say after listening to Adam's performance as Nightmare, I like this voice much better.
Nightmare's powers originally had no effects on superiors. This was changed to make his battle against Kamiko not as one-sided. Then as for Nightmare's masks, it appears to actually have an eternal smile. This, along with his small eye holes on his mask, gives Nightmare the impression he is eternally grinning with sinister intention. A subtle design choice that I actually didn't notice until someone pointed it out.
Oh.
But you know what? You're gonna take it,
works.
because that's awesome.
It's as I tell people, my best ideas are never intentional.
I mean, again, like Bob Ross says, we don't make mistakes, happy accidents. This is another such situation.
Nightmare and other nightmare beings appear to have no apparent weaknesses. In fact, their methods of being killed can contradict what you'd normally expect from a fallen warrior. This is to play with the ideas of nightmares are fueled by fear, and fear is illogical.
Which contributes back to them, too.
Yep. Nightmare and the Realm of Nightmares in general are the only instances where rules can be bent and twisted. This is because if horror has too much logic surrounding it, the fear goes away.
Exactly. Fear is power.
How about that Nightmare?
I really like how he looks.
Would Alex fight him?
If she knows people are in danger, yes.
Okay. But, like, anything you want to know about him?
So, you mentioned the Queen of England having a nightmare, a figure like this. Has there been any physical or visual documentation of said nightmare, like through historical art or something like that? Because I'm rather interested in it.
Not really. This is just something that I thought up.
Okay, so the design for Nightmare is completely original.
Yes.
But the story is true.
I don't want to say that the story is true. I mean, I like to imagine, like, you know, I'm sure every single person has had nightmares some point in their life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just, I wanted to pick the Queen of England specifically for this, just to have a bit of ties into, like, real-world stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because, again, with the whole thing of, like, multiple realms and multiple worlds kind of thing, it's supposed to play in the idea that different worlds can be affected by what existing worlds are. Like, sometimes not even just so much like what exists in it, but sometimes how their rules play, and sometimes in either similarities or contradictory to existing worlds.
Yeah, I think other than that, we're set.
In that case, time for us to go to the final character bio. We actually meet the Dragon Titan Keikaku.
Giant woman!
Giant whammon.
A giant whammon. A giant whammon.
Yeah. For Keikaku, her age is that she is 225, gender is female, height, she is normally 4'8", and weight is that she is normally 109.2 pounds. Blood type is AB, eye color silver, alignment dragon army. Her aura color is white. Aura level unlimited. Magic, elemental, portal conjuring, cosmic, telepathy, sealing, size manipulation, and eternal youth.
Huh.
Her personality is that she is charismatic, respecting, and wise. Her strength is that she has an incredibly skilled she has an incredible skill pool, unlimited aura, and can't age. Her weakness, though, is that she is a large target when big, and she's not immune to damage.
I'm gonna get the obvious out of the way. She purdy.
For her bio, Keikaku is a longtime friend of Chrome and the first ever Dragon Titan. One day when Chrome's pride was on the line, her and Zarigan wished to protect him. After Zarigan was sent to first aid, Keikaku held a rainbow crystal in her hands and accidentally swallowed it upon tripping over herself. The crystal granted Keikaku the wish of becoming strong enough to protect Chrome, and thus giving her all the power of a single being could ask for.
Fuck, all that from a crystal?
A rainbow crystal. The thing is, these crystals are extremely rare.
Huh.
As in, like, you probably only ever find 3 of them.
And she just ate one.
Yeah.
Effective.
Yep. So,
Effective, yes.
Yep. So Keikaku's original design was just being a very tall woman with a face of a young 8-year-old girl, completely nude. This was due to originally her story being that her body underwent swift maturity after swallowing a rainbow crystal by accident, except her face still appeared as if she were still 8 years old. I changed it to make her appear as more of an adult, for obvious reasons.
And you made the right choice.
Keikaku had an overhaul in her design to make her appear more draconic. Believe it or not, her design was changed after playing through Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. After seeing the Zora designs and the Great Fairy Fountains, I had the idea to give Keikaku the change that gave her aspects of a dragon.
Yeah.
I also was originally thinking of giving her wings, but I just simply stuck with horns, claws, and a tail instead. I thought the wings would have been a bit extra.
Yeah. And she already looks imposing as it is.
Yep. And while Keikaku's powers are listed, that is not the full extent of her abilities.
Yeah, because her aura level is unlimited.
The scar that was added onto her is to indicate her big battle against the demon lord Saiga, the leader of the demon army.
That's the scar on her face, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Keikaku's concept came from the scrapped Dragon Gods idea back when the Rise of Superior was Realm Wars. However, instead of Dragon Gods, she became a Titan. And then there was a plan to make Keikaku Kamiko's original mother, but was changed due to the plot twist not making sense in context to Keikaku's story.
Not to mention, yeah, that does sound a little strange out of context. But her being a friend of Chrome's is definitely a nice change, but the Rainbow Crystal changing her into this, it's rather affected by itself.
Now she's a big girl.
She's essentially Captain Universe now.
Yeah. And you know what? Chrome could use friends.
He really could. I'd be his friend. I'm even his voice, for Christ's sake.
So how about the big dragon lady?
I'd hug her.
She needs clothes.
She's fine.
No, she's got scales. It's fine.
She's part dragon.
Yeah, she's part dragon. They're all nude anyway. And hey, knowing her, she could probably manipulate to look like she's wearing clothes.
Anything else?
What happened to the crystal after she ate it?
Digested. It's gone.
Oh, dragons have powerful tum-tums then. I think other than that, we're pretty much squared away.
So yeah, that would eventually be everything that I'd want to showcase for all this.
All according to Keikaku.
The best way to end this on.
I'm sorry, I've been holding it in for a while.
If you guys want to give your thoughts on what you have heard while you were here?
You know what my response is going to be. I'm excited for you to continue on with this, and
yeah, the change has been drastic since when I was brought into the Rise of Superior, in terms of everything that I've heard and have been a part of, and I am really excited to see where this goes, and if there's anything that I can do to help extend this even further, then I'm more than happy to do so.
Yeah. Well,
and you know you've got my back.
Yeah, thank you.
So when are we going to get to the point where we can write a crossover story between this and Phantom of the Forest? Because again, I want to help make Dora and Ryona canon.
Well, whenever I can eventually ever actually finish the first book.
And same with me.
Yeah. But no, I do generally like to hear like whatever kind of responses that you may have, or like any kind of questions, any kind of critique, just because I primarily do want to hear feedback as to what it is that I can fix.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, everything else in terms of foundation, characters, and the arcs that you have set up are rather solid. Yeah. The only character I have a question for is Keikaku in terms of her importance.
So
if she
okay, well I was gonna answer that because like yeah, she does have a bit of importance. She is going to be a part of one of the original prequel stories I'm going to be making a written short story for.
Okay.
But the other thing about Keikaku as well is that she's also the closest thing Chrome has to a therapist.
Pretty much. because she's also one of the few people who actually cares about him a lot.
Yeah. Well, Amara cares for him too.
Yeah.
She actually does explain too, like, why she does treat Chrome a bit more respectfully, because Chrome's not necessarily the soldier type, and the only reason he's even in this war is because they literally have no choice but to make every dragon into a fighter.
Yeah, so it's assumingly within their culture.
Yeah, well, not just in their culture, but also because the third short story I plan to write, the dragons almost were wiped out completely.
That's true, they were.
Yeah, so their militia is short.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, not a lot of criticisms to really go over. Everything that you've thought up very carefully and very well. Especially given the fact that you've been developing this for how many years at this point? 5?
More than that. Way more than that.
Yeah, so pretty much your life's work in that case.
Yeah, because remember, this was originally based off of a stupid club me and my elementary friends made up where we fought the Grinch.
Yeah, honestly, I would say the story's in good hands because you're the one who came up with it. Ren and TP, what about you guys? Do you have anything to add?
Not really.
I guess in that case, I guess I can conclude this for now. To the people watching at home, if there is anything you want to put down for maybe your own kind of questions that you may have or any kind of concerns, definitely put them down here. I'd love to engage in conversations involving that, and maybe probably take some feedback of whatever kind of thing you may probably suggest. Now, I may not take every bit of suggestion, that just depends on if I think whether or not it can work or anything, but just to rest assured, I will look at whatever kind of thing that you people wish to bring to my attention, because making sure this is good is definitely important to me.
Of course. More than important.
Yeah, and if you ever want to remain constantly updated on what it is I'm doing for this series, the Rise to Superior has a Twitter page I will have in the description of this video.
And that will be the Rise 2.
And also, I will be sure, like, within the description of this video, I will be sending links to credit, like, the people who did assist me with the voice work as well. And I'll even go out to credit some of the ones that I couldn't fully finish their audio logs for, just because they did go out of their way to help me with them. So I ought to at least give them that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, definitely check out the description. It's gonna be hefty, but, you gotta do what you gotta do to make sure people get their dues in.
And that's just doodly do what you gotta do, yeah.
Yes. So, with that out of the way, thank you all for sticking around as much as you could. Nikki and Danny did have to leave in the middle of it, but their presence here was just as welcome.
Hey.
Of course.
Yeah. And, yeah, I guess that's just where we're gonna end things off. I shall see you guys another time.
Bye.
Next time.
Also, commission Jordan and follow Brandon on Twitch. Post-edit realm here one more time to state that any questions you have about the Rise of Superior, I plan to make a follow-up video where I answer any questions you, the viewer, may have. You may ask these questions either on this video or on the Rise of Superior Twitter page. Thank you all for coming and have a nice day.